Greetings, imagination connoisseurs. Once again, it is I, your Duke of Dope Discourse, Robert Meyer Burnett. I invite you to watch and listen to the Designing Hollywood podcast, brought to you by Martika Ibarra and the great, legendary Hollywood costume designer, Marilyn Vance. I am afforded the wonderful opportunity of co-hosting the show. If you are interested in the magic of Hollywood, the design of Hollywood, the clothes of Hollywood, watch the Designing Hollywood podcast, available wherever you get your podcasts from, or find the video version on the John Campea YouTube channel. That's right, the Designing Hollywood podcast. Why would you ever want to miss it, especially if you love the movies? Well, greetings, imagination connoisseurs. Once again, it is I, your pharaoh of physical media. That's right, me, Robert Meyer Burnett. And you can't hear me for some reason. Volume was down, which is never good. You're probably blown out now, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Here I am, your pharaoh of physical media, Robert Meyer Burnett, coming at you on this Father's Day. Yes, that's right. It's Father's Day today. You know, I have a lot to say about my dad. It was my dad who snuck me into Dawn of the Dead, my dad who snuck me into Phantasm, my dad who didn't care what a rating was or meant. My dad would make sure that I got to see the movies I wanted to see. Otherwise, I'd cry and bitch and moan until he took me. So I don't know if that means my dad was a good guy or he just wanted to get me out of his face. Who knows? But I still love my dad, Richard Burnett, or as his friends called him, Dick. Dick Burnett's not been with us since 2008, but he was a wonderful man who always supported my interests. But you know what? That's my personal story, which I could continue to share with you, but that's not what this show's about, is it? No. This show is about my friendship, my eternal friendship with your favorite German, my favorite German, the world's favorite German, all the way from Saarbrücken, Deutschland, Mr. Dieter Bastian. Dieter, how are you on this Father's Day?
I'm excited to do the show with you, Rob, because the bad boys ride or die on their physical media purchases. And I say, greetings, imagination connoisseurs. Dieter here I am, rock you like Erican, and welcome to the B&B Motel for Let's Get Physical Media. Because, Rob, we have the power of one, the power of two,
the power of many.
Holy smokes, Batman. What a crap on a cracker, Rob. What happened there on Wednesday? I couldn't believe it. There is just some stuff, Rob, you can't defend. You can't defend something like that. And for me, it wasn't. We are speaking of the Acolyte people. Episode 3.
I don't think anyone knew what we were talking about.
Yeah. Because there was no chatter at all this week about the Acolyte episode 3. And for me, Rob, it wasn't the stuff with Lesbian Covenant. For me, Rob, those twins didn't look alike at all. They looked like two different kids, you know? And you always go about verisimilitude, suspension of disbelief. Shouldn't they look similar? For me, they didn't look similar at all.
Let's talk about the elephant in the room. Okay, I've got a shelf full of Jean Rollin lesbian vampire movies. I have movies like Daughter of Darkness. I have Hammer Films, which is awash in lesbian imagery. Why should we ever possibly be upset to watch a show full of especially lesbian witches? Never. But you know what? You know what was missing? The male goddamn gaze. Give me the male gaze. Yeah. If you're going to make me some lesbian fantasy action, I want the male gaze to be a part of it. Canceled. Canceled. No, I mean, in all honesty, I mean, you know what? Let me just say, thank God for Criterion, because you know what they put out in 4K? Bound.
Exactly. It's pre-order.
And no one can cancel me for liking Bound because, hey, the Wachowskis made it. So you tell me where their gaze is coming from. All I know is I got Gina Gershon and Jennifer Tilly. Oh. And if you cast them as lesbian force-wielding witches, I would be there, man. I would be there. Yeah. You know what the problem is? You got it. There's nobody. I mean, you can bring your ideology or your identity into it, but where's the fucking Dieter? That's what we're missing.
Exactly.
If you're going to bring your sexuality into it, I want to see the sex in your sexuality. or your identity.
Yeah.
But no one wants to do that anymore.
And for me, it was just a boring episode.
And that's something to be said with lesbian space witches. If you bore me with lesbian space witches, I don't know. Canceled.
The stuff you can't defend, Rob. It would be the same if I would be telling you, Rob, Rise of Skywalker is the greatest Star Wars movie ever. And you would have the right to say, there's the door. Get out here.
I checked out with hyperspace skipping.
As
soon as they hyperspace skipped into the middle of a downtown skyline, I'm like, I'm out.
Exactly. And speaking of stuff you can't defend, Rob, I thought, use my VPN, get on Netflix US.
How dare you?
Yeah. And I thought it's time to rip the Band-Aid off and see what everyone is bitching about, considering Madam Web, Rob. I watched Madam Web, another movie you can't defend. Chris, Mr. Stuckman, this was the wrong movie to do your video. This was definitely the wrong one. You could have picked one where we know the producers took the movie away from the directors, but this one, you can't blame everything on Sony, considering Madam Web, because nothing in that movie was great. Not the visual effects, not the story, not the action, not the acting. So, because, Rob, we are wondering who is buying Madam Web, that it's always coming up in the charts. The only thing I would say, Rob, considering my purchases, I buy stuff that I haven't seen. So on that front, I can excuse it, but I have seen it. I will not be purchasing Madam Web. That is for sure. And Rob, I know you are very busy with your audio drama. Have you seen? Had you time?
I have not.
To watch? Not.
What you gonna do?
And Bad Boys for Me, Rob. You mentioned that on Robservation. I think the second last episode that you did, considering you have to keep the core, what made your franchise or IP strong, you have to keep the core of it. And the chemistry between the two is still there, and what keeps that franchise strong and healthy, even with the fourth one. I thought the third one was a little bit stronger, considering I had more lefts with the third one, and not with Ride or Die, but still a good entry to the franchise. But there was one scene, Rob, where I'm not looking for verisimilitude in a Bad Boys movie, but there was one scene where they went over the top for me.
Uh-oh.
They went too fast and furious in one scene, Rob. I will not say anything more where I would go, oh, come on, man. No, that's a little bit too much. But considering the two directors, Rob, for me, Rob, there is no chance that these two guys who did the last two Bad Boy movies and some Miss Marvel content, that their Batgirl movie could be as bad as Madam Web. No, I see no chance that their Batgirl movie wouldn't at least be better than Madam Web, considering what they did with the two Bad Boys movies.
Honestly, I was thinking that myself. I don't know. I was watching that behind-the-scenes video of Will Smith doing the point-of-view shots, flipping the gun around. I'm like, come on. How bad can it be? Couldn't be worse than Madam Web, like you said. I don't know. It's look, I think there's more. There's always agendas at play. There's always the deep Hollywood, just like the deep state. People have their agendas. The problem is, the deep state, they're thinking far. They're manipulating timelines. They're going deep Hollywood. They don't know shit. The people in charge don't know anything. I wish I could believe in the great conspiracy of the motion picture industry, but unfortunately, like William Goldman said, no one knows anything. So I don't know. I mean, it's kind of a bummer.
Yeah, but like you said, Rob, they kept what made the franchise good in those two sequels.
Yeah,
and I love that they kept the look. Looks like if you would have shown me the third one, Rob, without telling me who directed, I would say, oh, Michael Bay is still directing the movie. Has the same look.
High praise indeed. High praise indeed.
So for me, a good one, but not as strong as the third one, but definitely purchase worthy for me. And Rob, you get the buzzer because you reported the box office already on your observation, so we don't need to do
no.
the box office?
No. There's
okay.
new information.
New information. Okay.
Goddamn
okay,
German. You could shut
then
your dirty
I was
mouth.
too fast with the bother room.
Okay,
because
here you go.
The box office this morning.
There is a Sunday update from our friend Nancy Tartaglione from Deadline. Joy to the world. That's what it says. Inside Out 2 thrills with historic 295 million global bow.
Ooh.
Yes.
That's in a long time.
Yes. No anxiety here, as Disney Pixar's Inside Out 2 positively crushed its opening with a 295 million worldwide debut that includes an astonishing $140 million from only 38 international box office markets. The film, which has exceeded all expectations, continued to spread joy around the globe throughout the session and still has many majors such as France, Italy, Spain, China, Brazil, and Japan to come. When using the current exchange rates and in like-for-like markets, the 295 million global start is bigger than animation opening record holder the Super Mario Bros. Movie. Using a similar metric, the Kelsey Mann-directed Inside Out sequel is the best international animation opening of all time, surpassing Frozen 2's 135.4 million. Inside Out 2 also has the biggest overseas and worldwide opening of 2024. Before we dig into the details, let's also note that last weekend's champ, Sony's Bad Boys Ride or Die, barely slowed down with just a 38% dip. The sophomore frame was good for 30.8 million in 62 markets, taking the overseas cum to 102.4 million and global across 200 million. So nice. Bad Boys Ride or Die, 214.6 million through Sunday. Japan and China are due to open this coming weekend. Clearly, there is joy in Burbank, Culver City, and across the industry in general, just as there will be a lot of smiling faces at the Cine Europe Exhibition Convention, which kicks off in Barcelona tomorrow. Turning back to Inside Out 2, we've noted throughout the frame the reaction in Latin America was simply mind-blowing. Even within the knowledge that it is typically very strong on family, at number 1 in all markets, Inside Out 2 grossed 61 million across the region. It scored the highest opening weekend of all time in Colombia, and the second biggest in Mexico. Argentina, Central America, Chile, and Uruguay. In Europe, there was no ennui. They used ennui in a sentence, as Inside Out 2 amassed 42 million with many majors in the region not even open yet. Turkey gave the movie the biggest start ever for any film, while in Israel, this was the 5th biggest start ever. In the UK, 13.9 million for the 3-day was the biggest opening weekend of the year so far. Across Asia Pacific, Inside Out 2 generated 37 million, opening at number 1 in all markets, save India, where a local title was above it. The stunning runs in Korea and the Philippines continued, and that's amazing. The global haul in IMAX theaters was 14.5 million, good for the format's 4th biggest animation opening weekend ever, excluding China, and that is amazing. And the Garfield movie put another 7.2 million in the kiddies from 60 markets.
Yeah.
And
it's in the green, Rob. It's in the green.
The Garfield movie is 217.8 million.
Yeah. It's in the green.
Furiosa Mad Max Saga, it has made 160.1 global. And Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes is closing in on War for the Planet of the Apes. It's already surpassed the domestic gross of War for the Planet of the Apes. It's at 374.5 million global, and this movie costs 30 million less than War for the Planet of the Apes. So let's hear it for Steve Asbell and the team over at 20th Century Studios. Steve Asbell, the president of that studio, I like to call the quiet king of franchises. And let's give it up. 20th Century Studios is remaking Enemy Mine, the 80s film, the first Wolfgang Petersen movie to be made in America. With ILM effects, where they went back to using models. I like Enemy Mine. I own the Blu-ray from Twilight Time, just to say I do, because I can. But so Terry Matalas, Picard season 3 showrunner, who's been on this channel before. Kudos to him. So he's doing the Vision series. He's showrunning and writing the Vision series for Marvel, and he's making the Enemy Mine remake for 20th Century Studios. So you go, Terry.
Nice. Nice.
And even The Fall Guy has made 169.9 million global. Now that's not going to help it break even, but it's not a total disaster. It's not a Norbit. You know.
And we never know, Rob, how the movie do digitally. You know, how many.
Yeah, I don't know. But let me give you since you asked, let me give you our domestic box office for the week here in the States, because I know you care in Saarbrücken how we're doing here in the States.
It is still the biggest market.
Yeah, you care probably about as much as our box office as we care about the Saarbrücken football team. Oh, wait, what? Hang on. I'm just kidding. I wear their colors because of you. I wear their colors because of you. And I love wearing their colors. Colors. Can I get colors in 4K? So
blue and black.
Inside Out is at 155 million. Bad Boys Ride or Die is at 112 million. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes is at 157 million. The Garfield movie is at 78 million. Watchers, M. Night Shyamalan's Daughters movie, is at 13.6 million. If Krasinski's If has made it to 100 million domestically, so good for you. Furiosa's only at 63.1 million here. And The Fall Guy is at 87.9 million. Strangers Part 1, I can't believe that movie has grossed 33.9 million. And check this out. Do you know what the number 10 highest grossing movie in the United States is this week?
No.
I'll give you a hint. You're late. A wizard is never late, Mr. Frodo Baggins.
Oh,
he arrives precisely when he means to. Yes, Fellowship of the Ring. Fellowship of the Ring has made $3 million this weekend.
Are they playing the extended version of the movie?
I don't know. I would. Yeah. The extended
is there actually, Rob, considering Inside Out, are there 3D showings or just 2D?
I think there's just 2D here.
Yeah, in Germany too. Was just wondering if there is perhaps a chance that we would get a 3D version of the.
By the way, I just want to point out, because if you can rip on Disney, I mean, Disney had a great weekend, but this is an article in Deadline's business section. This comes to us from Bruce Herring. The food prices, if you go to their parks, if you go to Walt Disney World with the family, the food prices at Walt Disney World have significantly outpaced inflation. A new report from Finance Buzz shows prices for concessions at Walt Disney World in Orlando, Florida, have increased an average of 61% over the past 10 years, more than the average increase in a single park ticket, which has gone up 56%. The actual rate of inflation for the last 10 years was pegged at 32%. Rising high are such fan favorites as the Dole Whip dessert, which has gone up 58%, and the Mickey Mouse-shaped ice cream bar, which has increased 63% in the past 10 years. Disney, you should be ashamed of yourselves. Come on, man. That's not good. Anyway.
That's a lot.
It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money.
And the last number that I would like to report, Rob, Hope and Glory has made it this Sunday over the 800,000 views mark.
I take full responsibility.
Nice. Of course. We are the shepherds of
By the way,
Hope and Glory.
Last night, Zachary Zabeli, who is a watcher of this channel, he fired in a super chat that I missed because I had signed off before I saw it. And Zachary asked a very important question. He asked, is there more to life than entertainment? So I put that question to you, Dieter. Is there more to life than entertainment?
Certainly. But for me, considering it's my hobby, it is a big part of my life, entertainment.
I agree. I mean, Man's Search for Meaning. I've read Viktor Frankl's book, and so should you. Maybe not you, but I mean the audience should. You'll feel guilty if you read it. But Man's Search for Meaning, I think that it's like what Spock tells Kirk in Star Trek: The Motion Picture. V'ger comes to Earth asking those questions. Is this all I am? Is there nothing more? Do you know what I like to think? And I read it recently, and I've said it before. We are here to enjoy the passage of time.
Yeah.
That's kind of the way I look at it. And however you choose to do that, it's Father's Day today. Honor your father. Hopefully the families out there will honor their fathers, and fathers will enjoy the passage of time today. By the way, I got to tell you a funny story.
Yeah.
So, we have a litter of 9 puppies. And before, a lot of people wanted our puppies. This time, not so much. And this litter of puppies is amazing. But we had our first acquisition of one of our puppies yesterday, and it was a pretty cute event. So Elizabeth took a puppy to the local farmer's market to show it off. And, of course, they are incredibly irresistible, and a family saw it and wanted one. And they came over here yesterday to pick out a puppy because, really you don't get to pick out
puppies. To pick, Rob?
Puppies pick you. Puppies pick you. And they thought they wanted a male, then they decided they wanted a female. We have 5 females and 4 males. But here's the coolest thing. So the family has had 2 young sons, and one of their sons is 4 years old. And when they were coming up here, they decided they wanted a male, and their 4-year-old son came up with the name of their male puppy that they had yet to pick. And his name is Ubu. So the first of our puppies, Olivia, after Olivia Newton-John, Olivia has now been renamed Ubu, and she will be going to her forever home this afternoon for Father's Day. And you know what? If a 4-year-old decides to name a puppy Ubu, you go with that. I don't know. I wanted to ask the 4-year-old, because I didn't get to meet him, where he came up with the name Ubu. I was thinking, is that like Pere Ubu, the musician? I don't know. But maybe it was. So there you go. There's your heartwarming Father's Day tale. Father and son acquiring a puppy today. So
first puppy sold.
There you go.
Nice. Rob, since we've been away a long time, should we show some physical media?
Yeah. Yeah, can I start, though?
Yeah, you can start.
I thought this was a fucking joke. I did. I thought this was a joke. But then I realized it was kind of a gift from the gods. So thank you, George Feltenstein. One of the unofficial sponsors of this channel is Warner Home Video, and especially Warner Archive. And George hooked me up. But now they switched over how things get sent to you. And I sometimes get random stuff in the mail from Warner Brothers. And at first, when I got this box, I thought somebody was joshing me. I thought somebody just sent it to me. But then I realized you just kind of have to change your attitude about things. You know how the Jedi always say things are, well, it depends on how you look at it from a certain point of view. Look what I got. Manifest Season 4. All right. Now, this is the only season of Manifest that I receive on physical media, but really it is the purest expression of the gobbledygook, the glorious gobbledygook, the most ridiculous, impossible premise TV show ever in the modern age. If people think Lost is on one end of the spectrum, Manifest is on the other end of the spectrum. Manifest is the Star Crash. You know how Star Crash is my favorite Star Wars ripoff? Manifest might be my favorite Lost ripoff. I haven't even opened this yet, but God bless this cast. I mean, for 4 seasons, they put up with the gobbledygook is piled really high. But you know what? I want to thank Warner Brothers for thinking of me. Clearly, the gods are smiling, and I got a DVD copy of Manifest. See the thing about and isn't it perfect? It's not even on Blu-ray or 4K. It's on DVD. I might be the only person that owns this on planet Earth, and I'm happy to own it. So God bless the cast and crew of Manifest for giving us
the DVD sales shot, Rob. Perhaps you're not the only one.
Dude,
Manifest.
This. First of all, you want to see, if you were looking for the ultimate form of gobbledygook and you thought the 4th season was going to let you down, that the gobbledygook would not keep. No. This show delivers, unlike, say, Star Trek Discovery, which I could barely choke down the 5th season. I did, too. I choked it down. It was kind of like eating lima beans when you're 4. But this, man, wow.
Didn't you give
Manifest.
Some recommendation how to watch Manifest? Watch the first episode and then skip to...
Well, okay. I did say that you could watch the first episode of Manifest and skip to the last episode. That is true. That is true. But you know what? There are ways to watch Manifest that I would alcohol, herbs.
Would certainly help.
I mean, I haven't tried watching Manifest on ecstasy yet. Or, I haven't done cocaine in a long, long, long time because I don't trust anyone's cocaine anyway, so it's been at least 20 years. But I can imagine if you were snorting fatty rails off, your girlfriend or boyfriend's ass while you watch Manifest, you'd get pretty high if something ridiculous. Every time something ridiculous happened, it's you would get so gacked up. You would be Tony Montana. By the end of each episode, you'd have your face, that mountain of cocaine face that Tony Montana has. That's what you would get. But honestly, yes. Honestly, for those people who just want to sample Manifest, I think it's on Netflix. Just watch the first episode and the last episode. You're good. So,
You're good. Okay.
Now I guess I have to get season 1. Thank you, Warner Brothers.
Warner Brothers, yeah. Well, starting with the last one.
Canceled. No one's supporting this show.
Yeah.
Anyway.
You're showing stuff, Rob.
Oh, was I? Kino Lorber. I don't know. Did I show these last time I saw you? Kino Lorber sent me these.
No, I don't
think
so. 4Ks.
No. Look at this.
No.
Little
Nice,
4K.
nice.
Like I promised. Well, here's Johnny Depp and John Waters' Crybaby, and Abel Ferrara's. Only Abel Ferrara could if you guys haven't seen this movie, let me ask you why not. Harvey Keitel's junk, religious iconography, horrible bad behavior. This movie's a banger, and it's in 4K. And Abel Ferrara, I saw a clip. There was a clip somebody I saw, it was on Twitter, I think, where somebody took some of Abel Ferrara's audio commentary from King of New York, because I have it's the best. And he's laughing at how great King of New York is, and he's like, man, they paid me he even says they paid me $5,000 to do this commentary. But man, this is a great movie. Abel Ferrara, remember, Abel Ferrara began his illustrious career making Driller Killer, one of the great sleazeball movies of the late 70s. God bless Abel Ferrara. Because he King of New York, Bad Lieutenant, even his version of Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Where are you going to go when there's no one left like you? I mean, the Wachowskis using Jennifer Tilly, Abel Ferrara using Meg Tilly. The Tilly sisters, man.
Nice one.
So,
nice.
Yeah, got these from Kino Lorber. Thank you, Kino Lorber. And then, back to Warner Brothers. Another rando container showed up from Warner Brothers.
Ooh.
And I was like, well, if Manifest is in this box, what might be in this box? Magic Mike 4K. Hey. Woo. So when I'm done watching Lesbian Space Witches, I can get my dudes on, and watch
everything in perfect balance, Rob.
It's and Criterion put out Fassbinder's Corel. So, I can get my gay on too. So it doesn't matter. I'm an equal opportunity. I'll watch anything. I don't care. So Magic Mike, this excites me. I actually think this is actually a really good movie. It's Soderbergh. So this shows up. And then so did in 4K, Chris Hemsworth in 12 Strong, which I've never seen in 4K.
It was, from my remembrance, nice, but not particularly something that will blow you away.
Well, somebody's going to get blown, that's for sure. But I got these movies, and there you go. That was my random boxes of movies. Now, I got this.
That looks like Vinegar Syndrome.
It is.
Looks like Vinegar Syndrome, considering the sticker.
And
I know that sticker.
Look at how the size of this box.
Ooh. Yeah, are packaging well.
Now, by the way, I love Vinegar Syndrome. Always packages everything well.
Yeah.
All the individual. Now, I looked in here. Now, I'm just going to show this first because it's for you. 4K.
Wait. Yeah, there it is, Rob. I got mine too. China.
Do you want to open it? I mean, come on.
Mine is already open.
So's mine. Mine's open too. I had to open it and switch around all the here. Show all the good stuff.
Everything in it. And for me, Rob, it's just almost bizarre to get those movies in that kind of quality, So we got. So.
By the way, though, this package is amazing.
Yeah, was already released in 4K from Eureka in the UK, but the Vinegar Syndrome comes with 4 discs, so you get the movies on Blu-ray and every movie on 4K. While the Eureka has both movies on just one 4K. And you not only get the cool slip.
So much artwork, so many cool slip covers.
Yeah. And you get the booklet for those two movies too. Such a great box set. It
is a great box set.
Yeah. Especially for us too.
Now I'm going to show you something.
To fill in the gap. And it's always great, Rob. This was not a double dipping or triple dipping. It's the first purchase ever of China O'Brien. And that's always awesome.
Okay, I'm going to show you.
Immediately get something like that. China O'Brien, dude. I gotta, and it's really a great box set and a great 4K. Now I'm going to show you something. We buy our movies that we maybe aren't proud of. I got a movie that totally agree, Rob.
I saw this movie in the theater.
Okay.
Also from Vinegar Syndrome, not on 4K, but I had to get it. Angel. Have you ever seen this?
Angel? No, just Angel?
Just Angel. Okay. So new artwork. This. Yeah. But here's the thing. Here's the poster. This is the original one sheet. High school honor student by day, Hollywood hooker by night.
Oh, I know that cover.
Yes,
I know.
You
I don't know the movie, but that cover.
Yes, you do. Starring the actors from Jaws 2. Now, now I kind of feel bad that I would buy something like this, but not really. Here's another cover.
Okay.
This is the kind of exploitation movie now that would never get made. And this is only the first. This is like a trilogy, but this is only the first movie. And God bless. I think this is actually Vinegar Syndrome. It's not one of their partner labels, but Vinegar Syndrome has these great the great slip cases. It's even embossed.
Yeah.
So yes, I have Angel. Do I apologize? I do not. I need to
look it up, Rob. Probably got a different title in Germany back in the day.
Not how do you probably like instead of Angel, Demoness or something? No. Hollywood honor student by day, Hollywood hooker by night. I mean, would this movie get made today? No, but I'm glad to have it. And of course, rape, revenge, serial killer movie, a serial killer, a necrophiliac serial killer. I know. Come on.
Yeah, Putgereit is calling, Rob.
I'm telling you. Now, something else I'm a big fan of. Something else I got from Vinegar Syndrome. So Amicus, the company Amicus, made a lot of horror anthologies. So a movie that has like different stories in it. And this is one of my favorites. In 4K, from Vinegar Syndrome, Dr. Terror's House of Horrors.
Nice.
And look, it's got this. Look at how they made the skull.
Oh, cool.
Great slipcase. Of course, Christopher Lee is in this movie. Donald Sutherland's in this movie. And, of course, Peter Cushing. Now, it's funny because I haven't opened this yet. Let me see if there's an alternative. Wait, I got a wine opener here, but I don't have any wine. I really don't. Let's see. So let's open it up and see. I don't know. I honestly don't know if there's a different slipcover on the inside. But again, what's interesting now, what I've noticed from this batch of Vinegar Syndrome titles is a lot of these were Paramount movies. Oh. So they've delved into Paramount's. Oh, yeah. Look at this. Alternative artwork. Can you see it?
Awesome.
So,
even better, this one.
Yeah, so I'm going to put that. I like to, if the exterior O-ring is different, got to go for the interior. That's great. Yeah, so these are Paramount titles, which is great. Wow, that's a really cool cover. Look at that.
Yeah.
So I love having classic horror like this. I really like this movie. So
this is an anthology, you said.
It's an anthology movie, the Amicus stuff. Kind of like Tales from the Crypt, The Vault of Horror.
Yeah.
And Dr. Terror's House of Horrors I really like. Again, what What a package. Kind of like what Alan Rickman says. What a savings. But what a package. There we go. And I got a bunch of stuff, but we can get to it later. I'll show more later.
Okay.
From this giant box.
Then I will show some stuff, Rob. And I start, Rob. This stays between you and me. A bootleg.
What?
Purchase.
You bought a bootleg?
Purchase, yeah. Considering it was a recommendation from our watcher Thomas Logan, I bought Blade Runner 2049 in the IMAX version. It came from Croatia, and we assume, Thomas and I, that the manufacturer got some hold of the IMAX digital file from the IMAX in Prague, which is pretty close to Croatia. So I watched it, Rob. So it's just a recordable disc, of course. And you get the movie completely in 178:1 the whole way through. Picture quality is good, definitely. You get, but not the Dolby Atmos track, you get a DTS 5.1. And the strange thing was, Rob, I switched over to PCM output, and then you get a 7.1. So really strange how the disc is authored. So is it purchase worthy? Depends on how much you like, actually, Blade Runner 2049. Because there's, of course, great location shots that really impress even more. But I haven't done any specific comparison, how much more you get. There's, of course, a lot of headroom more, considering the format. But this is Blade Runner 2049 in the IMAX format. 178:1.
I'm so ashamed of you.
The whole movie.
So ashamed.
The whole movie. Yeah, I know. But it came. The only bootleg for today. Cat in the Bag, Rob, but I heard mixed things, good things. Considering Daisy Ridley, I bought The Marsh King's Daughter. I waited for price drop because I think it's a thriller, so I'm really looking forward to it. The Marsh
So a
Daughter.
Schnäppchen.
And Schnäppchen, exactly, Rob. With Ben Mendelsohn. The next one, Rob, I think you've shown it already, because you always get the Kino Lorber stop ahead of time, about Leviathan.
Nice. It looks great, by the way.
From oh, that's cool to know. MGM movie. And help me, Rob, the other one back in the day was Deep Star 6, which was the cheaper one.
Yeah, with the Sean Cunningham one. So you had Deep Star 6, Leviathan, and The Abyss.
Yeah. You always have those two similar movies coming
The
out
power
almost at
of
the same time.
many underwater thrillers coming at the same time.
What a crap on a cracker. Rob, we always complain about shitty cover artwork. And the next one is probably the top spot for this year. But it's actually pretty fitting because it was my phase 2 after seeing it. The new Jean-Claude Van Damme, called in Germany, of course, a little bit overboard, Born to Kill, but the actual title is Darkness of Men.
Wow, okay. And it's in 4K.
So, yeah, it's in 4K and comes with 4K and a Blu-ray. Not too shabby, pretty grounded actually, but considering our precious verisimilitude, Rob, you can tell that it's obviously sets they are using, studio sets. So a little bit low sometimes on the verisimilitude. I would say only for JCVD fans. So, but no one else. Darkness of Men. And speaking of Thomas Logan, gave me the tip with the IMAX version. He sometimes sent me stuff. And if you send me Blu-rays, Rob, it's not a good idea because the chance that I perhaps have the title is pretty high. So it took him 3 tries, but finally he came through with a title that I didn't have from Brandon Cronenberg, Rob. I think it's his first movie.
Oh, his first movie. Did you watch it? Did you watch it?
No, I haven't come around to watch it.
Oh, it's good.
This is actually
It's good.
The German one, which had a reversible cover artwork, so that we could at least get rid of the rating. And this one, I didn't have. So Thomas had to do 3 takes, and now
You'll
now
enjoy that. I really enjoy Antiviral.
It was the movie that he did before Possessor?
He did it right. He did it before Possessor, and Infinity Pool's the movie he did after Possessor.
Nice. The next one up, you showed a little bit pinky violence, We have pretty diversity here, considering our titles. Sex and Fury, which comes with a...
Oh, great. Canceled.
Cover artwork. Yeah.
Canceled.
Like every week, Rob. Like every week.
I know.
It's probably too late. Sex and Fury. And Cat in the Bag that came with it from Japan too. Hurricane Polymer is the title. So
Hurricane Polymer? Wow, that's...
Polymer,
I don't think I've ever heard of a movie that uses polymer in the title. Kudos to them.
Yeah. Exactly, Rob. So Cat in the Bag. Cat in the Bag.
All right.
Let me just see. Can I see? This is from 2017, I believe. If I read that correctly. Good things, considering the reviews, but I haven't seen it. Gotten it yesterday with Anthony Hopkins, the movie One Life.
Oh, I've heard that's great. I really want to see that.
Yeah.
That's about a man who saved a lot of people during the Holocaust. Based on a true story.
But I haven't seen it. One Life. Then, Rob, sometimes we do purchases just out of morbid curiosity, And I don't know if you buy it too.
Us?
Yeah, sometimes. I bought the Island of Dr.
Have you seen that? Have you seen that before?
On VHS days, Rob.
John Frankenheimer coming right into the rescue.
Yeah. Different cover artwork.
That's Scream Factory, right?
Exactly, Rob. Let me just check. Yeah, Shout Scream Factory. Yeah, correct, Rob. And we all know this was probably a movie where Chris Stuckman could have used, to making his point across, But I haven't seen really, Rob. Zero memories.
It's not horrible. There's enjoyment to be had over it.
Help me, Rob. Is this a different cut or something? No. There is no different cut. For the director's cut. 2K scan of the interpositive for the director's cut. Huh? Okay. So this is a little bit of my first haul, Rob, for this week. The Island of Dr. Moreau.
Well, not bad. Let's catch up. A lot of people have been firing in comments and super chats and stuff like this. Let's see what we got here. Let's see. Doc Civil. Actually, that was from yesterday, so never mind, Doc Civil. Let me catch up to where I am at. We're actually with Kenneth Crayley Jr., Robin Dieter. Hey. Robin Dieter, what do you think is the cause for the recent QC issues on 4K Blu-ray disc transfers, bad transfers, or bad bit rates on the disc? Maybe he's referring to Once Upon a Time in the West.
Okay.
Here's what I would say. So transfers and discs are different. So when you're doing a film transfer, there's people, so hopefully not AI doing this, but people supervising a transfer. If you're doing a 4K transfer is an actual file size. So for instance, if you're doing a 4K, if you're making a widescreen 4K 239:1 transfer, that is 4098 by 1716 pixels. So that is a fixed, if you're doing a widescreen, then there's 4096. Did I say 4098? It's 4096 by 1716. Then there's 4096 by 2048. So it's pixels. And so whoever's doing the transfer, who's ever doing the color grading and all that, you're dealing with fixed numbers. Now, it's an aesthetic choice when you go in and do a color timing. Hopefully the original, whenever possible, cinematographer or director is involved. So the transfer is a separate issue from the disc mastering.
Yeah.
The problem is when you have a 4K file, it's quite large. And to fit on a disc, you can have a BD66, a BD100, a BD,
100.
Whatever, 50, whatever. So what you want is the largest disc possible, dual layered, to carry a large, gigantic file. My 4K file for Tango Shalom was like 750 gigabytes.
Yeah.
So the master, the 4K uncompressed master was 400 or 750 gig. You can't fit that on a disc. So you're always getting something that's compressed. But what you want is to have it be the least amount of compression possible. So like with Once Upon a Time in the West, they used, I think, a BD66, which is unacceptable. Look, BD100s cost more money, but some numbnuts in some, cushy office was trying to figure out, okay, we're going to sell this many, and they always want to try and make sure the profit margin is as large as possible. That's why somebody like George Feltenstein at Warner Archive is such a treasure, because not only does he make sure the transfers that Warner Archive are doing are the highest bit rates possible when they're put on discs, he uses the largest discs he can get to put his movies on. Because the whole point of Warner Archive, the whole point of buying Warner Archive's product is to get the best of their classic library, whether it's MGM, whether it's Warner Brothers, whatever they're doing, as possible. That's why when Warner Brothers fucks up the Fleischer Superman cartoons by treating them as like their Saturday morning animation, it shows two things. One, the people that are working at Warner Brothers in home video are idiots because they don't understand what the Fleischer Superman cartoons animation are. Feltenstein would never have done that for Warner Archive. They should re-release the Fleischer Superman cartoons. Warner Archive should redo it for when James Gunn's Superman comes out or something. They probably will. So you never know. It's always cost-cutting measures. So if somebody... It's like when they did Speed Racer, the Wachowski Speed Racer. It was done on, a BD25? And you have compressed audio? I mean, they should re-release that movie.
The only excuse, Rob, it was really early in the Blu-ray days when that disc came out.
It's still the whole thing with formats is that you want to get the best possible version of the film on home video. You want to get the least compressed, the best picture, the best sound. That's the whole point of the format. So if you're putting out a 4K disc that is anything less than the best it can be, which Once Upon a Time in the West is not, it's too compressed. That's unacceptable. So that's problematic. But it's always, to answer your question, Kenny, it's always about money.
And like you said, Rob, how big your Tango Shalom file was. Even Eric von Short told me that the Hope and Glory file was over 100 gig, only for 40 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they're huge files. Huge files. B-Dep says, great to see you guys again. Seems like forever, even if it's only been 2 weeks. Laugh out loud. Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. Maybe I'm a dad, maybe I'm not. Who knows? Our friend Undead Sick. Undead Sick was in the member call yesterday, but we didn't get to talk. Good to see you yesterday, though. I've started exploring blaxploitation and film noir, genres I'm relatively new to. Any tips for movies to expand my cinema knowledge? Well, watch Coffee with Pam Grier. Start with Larry Cohen's Black Caesar. Watch the Slaughter films. Watch the Shaft movies. And then if you're going to watch, film noir, This Gun for Hire, Double Indemnity, start there, and then watch everything from The Maltese Falcon. I've got a great book on film noir. Do some reading. Because film noir, remember, is not, while it started out as American, there's also foreign film noirs that are worth watching. This is something I should call up Max. You know what? I've never done this before, but Max Allan Collins, who wrote True Noir, he is the expert. He's the expert, and of course he created True Noir. Let's see if he'll pick up his phone. I don't know if he will, but he knows probably more about film noir than anybody. I'm going to call him up right now, and I'm going to ask him since Undead Sick. Let's see if he picks up the phone. Maybe he's watching the show right now. He's never been on the show. He might be out with his lovely wife. You never know.
Well, I don't like to be interrupted when I'm watching Let's Get Physical Media.
Great,
Ladies and
Max,
gentlemen,
great.
this is Max Allen Collins, the writer of True Noir, the assassination of Anton Cermak. Mr. Max Allen Collins, it is a great honor to have you on the show.
Am I on the show today?
You're live, buddy.
Good Lord! I just started watching you. Just started watching this episode, so I don't know. Now I'm just all confused. Am I ahead? Am I behind? Am I in between?
Well,
No idea.
Undead Sick sent in a super chat and says he's over in the Netherlands. I've started exploring blaxploitation and film noir genres he's relatively new to. Any tips for movies to expand my cinema knowledge? And I was saying, I said, you know what? I'm going to call Max. No one knows more about film noir than you do. So I figured I'd call an expert and also at the same time promote True Noir, the assassination of Anton Cermak, which the crowdfunding campaign drops on July 1st. And we've already been recording great actors. By the way, Max, you were a participant without saying anything that who you actually saw. What were your impressions of some of the recording sessions we did with our cast for True Noir since you wrote the script?
It was phenomenal. I mean, I'm a real sucker for hearing my stuff brought to life. There's something about it. I mean, it rattles around inside my head and sounds just fine. When you got someone like Vincent Pastore,
dude, you're not supposed to say who is in the cast.
I mean, theoretically, if you had someone on the level of of Vincent Pastore, someone who'd been on The Sopranos, could have been anybody. It blows you away.
Dude, you want me to call you again? Don't do that again. Come on. Don't do that.
Put him on the spot.
That can be hypothetical.
Theoretically, hypothetical. Okay, let's get back to film noir because we're not going to talk about our recording session anymore.
Well, I would if we're talking blaxploitation and film noir, I think where they really intersect is probably two places. The stuff that Larry Cohen did. I mean,
I did mention Black Caesar.
Yeah, and he did two of those. But I am a huge Shaft fan.
Yeah.
And that probably comes from the fact that it was initially advertised, and I'm going back to the original hardcover by Ernest Heidemann. It was like, this is the Black Mike Hammer. And, I'm the Mickey Spillane's Mike Hammer guy.
Right.
And so seeing Richard Roundtree really bring that style of really gnarly private detective to life, that first movie is phenomenal. The second one is very good. And the third one is underrated. And the third one is, you're basically talking Sterling Philippon.
Yeah.
Who, he was a white guy, but that is a guy who really knew his stuff. I mean, that Shaft Goes to Africa is an outstanding movie that gets kind of lost in the shuffle. And the TV show doesn't suck as bad as people say it did.
Right.
I mean, it's still
people forget there was a Shaft TV show.
Yeah, it only ran. It was in one of those wheels where it came around and only was like on once a month or something.
Yeah, like McLeod or something.
Yeah. But and he's gone now. God bless him, Richard Roundtree. What a charismatic son of a bitch that man was.
Oh yeah, I loved him.
It just amazing, just amazing.
So what about Max? What about some film noir? What are some of your favorite film noirs? And not like Double Indemnity, but things that people might not, stuff that's off the beaten track that you love.
Well, it's not super off the beaten track, but I really like. I mean, Gun Crazy is one of my absolute favorite movies. And in terms of something that just is drenched in film noir, is The Big Combo, which is the same director, Joseph H. Lewis. And the Big Combo is just like amazing in terms of the way it looks and the themes that it explores. I mean, that's a really, really great one. Boy, I mean, I am a big film noir fan. I think one of the problems right now is that so much is being marketed, and I don't mind because I like crime movies, but there's a lot of stuff being marketed that really isn't that noir.
Mm.
And you kind of have to, you know, and then there's the problem that everybody defines it differently. I know that I know there are people like Otto Penzler, who's a real expert on crime fiction. He at one point said, "Well, no Private Eye movie can be noir," and I'm like, "What?" Kiss Me Deadly is about as noir as you get. So, you know, and you know, the recently the 3D version of I, the Jury came out from Classic Flicks.
Yeah.
And I know you guys know Classic Flicks does some very interesting stuff. And seeing I, the Jury, which was made in like 1953 in 3D, and it's John Alton is the cinematographer.
Yeah.
You know, who's like the cinematographer of film noir. That is a much underrated movie, and it's incredibly better in 3D.
Wow.
And I highly recommend that set because it has a 4K in it. I mean, this sounds like you and I designed it. There's a 3D disc, there's a 4K disc, and then there's a 3D or a Blu-ray disc, all in one package. How can you beat that?
You can't. Well, Max, I want to thank you for picking up the phone. And
Yes, I usually don't like to be interrupted when I'm watching my favorite show.
well, how wild is it going to be? You're going to continue watching it and then hear yourself in the show that you're already watching.
Yes, I know. It's there's something very Star Trek about that, I think.
Well, listen, we're going to have you come on the show for real, but I want to thank you for answering Undead Six question all the way from Holland. So thank you for that, and give my love to your beautiful pinup wife.
I will do that, but I have one request. I would like to have Dieter Bastian say hello to me and acknowledge my existence.
Dieter, can you say hello to Max Allen Collins?
Of course, one of the greatest names that I have ever heard is, of course, Max Allen Collins, who watches our show. And
I can't hear him.
Well, you can't hear him, but he's let him go. Here, wait, keep going, Dieter.
Max Allen Collins, thank you for watching the show and giving Rob the opportunity to doing his audio drama with you. And
hey, you're going to like this, Max. And here's the audio drama, True Noir, The Assassination of Anton Cermak from the Nathan Heller casebooks, written by Max Allen Collins, who wrote the graphic novel Road to Perdition that the movie is based on. He also took over
the perfect Father's Day movie, by the way. The perfect Father's Day movie, Road to Perdition.
You're absolutely right. And you also took over writing Dick Tracy for the Chicago Tribune from original creator Chester Gould at his behest.
That's right. That's right. And my camera.
And no more names, Max. No more names.
And I'm a personal friend of Robert Meyer Burnett.
Because of this show, we're working together.
That's right.
But don't you dare say anybody else who may or may not hypothetically be in our audio drama.
I will not. I will not. And I apologize for my faux pas.
Yeah, it's okay. You know, might not be true anyway.
It might not be true. I said it was hypothetical.
You did. All right, Max, I will say goodbye to you. Enjoy the rest of the show, and thank you for picking up.
I will enjoy the rest of the show. I know I will. Bye, Dieter.
Bye.
Bye, Max. Bye.
So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Max Allen Collins, writer of True Noir.
For name dropping.
You can't take anybody anywhere. But what can I say? So that comes to us from Undead Sick. There you go, Undead Sick. How about that? That's what I call service. Secular Monk says, happy birthday, Rob. Hitchhiker 42. Hitchhiker 42, who celebrates 13 months of membership. Hi, all. Do you think the Warner 4K of the Terminator will be unmolested by Cameron's AI DNR? Also, Rob, have you been able to pre-order NBYNW from the UK? What is NBY and what am I? What is NBYNW? Why am I not getting that? It's something right on the tip of my tongue. I don't know.
Something longer in the name.
Why new? I don't know. I don't know what that is.
From the UK.
From the UK.
Probably big set, but
Yeah, I'm not
Doesn't
sure.
ring a bell at the moment. Doesn't ring a bell.
Yeah, I know. We'll figure it out. Anonymous sends in a tip and says, "Do you think?" First of
the
all,
other
do
question,
you
Rob.
think we're going to get
Yeah.
an unmolested Terminator?
It could be, since it's from Warner, Rob.
I
if
think
they're,
so. I mean,
unmolested.
I've
So
seen the
perhaps
clips they've
we-
shown.
Fingers crossed. If
Yeah, let's
Cameron
hope.
is not involved, perhaps.
But you
perhaps
know
we
what?
Get lucky this time.
Terminator is a pretty grainy movie too.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Let's use that nice AI tool.
It's true. Anonymous says, "Do you think Dirty Harry, Shaft, and the other cop PI movies was the last thing that killed off the already dying Western genre in the 1970s? They had surprisingly much overlap with Westerns, but the cop PI movies seem much more fresh at the time." You know what? That's a really good question, but I don't think so. I think what happened was the cop PI blaxploitation movies like Shaft, in a post, like the horror film, the horror film became that post-Vietnam horror movie, beginning with like Night of the Living Dead and Texas Chainsaw and things like that. I would say that America changed. After the assassination of Kennedy and Martin Luther King and Bobby Kennedy and Malcolm X and all the different strife that was going on, that whole Western myth of America was swept aside. And the cop, especially the New York cop movies, whether it was French Connection or stuff like Shaft or stuff like Serpico, going after the rot in the New York Police Department, I think that was a reflection of the times. I think that the Western myth of America was being swept aside because America itself, the myth of the greatness of America, the greatest generation and all that, was shown to be not true. So I think that could be some of it. It's a great question, though.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Westerns, they were giving us things like McCabe and Mrs. Miller, and there was all these sort of they were deconstructing the West. So I don't know. That's a great question. 5 Dot Toast has gifted 10 memberships. So everybody, 5 Dot Toast. If you just got a membership for 5 Dot Toast, you were gifted by 5 Dot Toast. So thanks for that. Tom Jr. Jackson says, "Happy birthday, oh great one. You grace us with physical media." And also, "Hello, Max. Thanks for watching. Dieter, it's good to see you too."
Good to see you.
Well, thank you.
Too,
I
Tom.
appreciate that. And let's see what other people have to say, if they have other things to say. We shall see.
From the tip side.
Yeah, we got that one tip, but I'm looking at all the craziness that's happening on YouTube. Sometimes things get a little crazy here, and I just don't understand always why that is. So let me just get back to where I was. So, Dark Hawk Mark has become an imagination connoisseur. Remember, thank you for that. Major Chai Chai says the Lord of the Rings theater re-release is the extended cut. Watched first two last weekend, and we'll see Return of the King tomorrow. B-Dep says, "Was the puppy named after Ubu Productions?" Sit, Ubu, sit. Good dog. That's a good question. No, I think because a 4-year-old came up with it. I don't think so, but that could be. You never know. Undead Sick asks the important question. So now comes the question, Rob. Which is more ridiculous, Lost or Manifest? Well, I think ultimately Lost is more ridiculous, but it's presented in such a way that it seems like it's not. It's tricking you. It's tricking you for how ridiculous it is. So overtly, I'm going to go with Manifest. Manifest is more overtly ridiculous. Undead Sick also says, "Speaking of the MCU, Rob, I have a theory about Giancarlo Esposito's character, Abraham Cornelius. I say this because I have been hearing some rumors about Brave New World, Thunderbolts, and Armor Wars. Abraham Cornelius. That is a very interesting idea. Okay, I want to, now that you brought that up, that is very interesting. Abraham Cornelius was a character who was involved in the creation of Wolverine.
Nice. Okay.
That is really interesting. So, in the Ultimate Marvel Universe, Dr. Cornelius plays a much larger role. He appeared in the Ultimate X-Men story arc, Return to Weapon X. And he recruits Lady Deathstrike. Wow. Okay.
Deep cut.
That's a deep cut, but he was in the original X-Men animated series. That's really interesting. Really interesting. Now I'm obsessed with this idea. This is a great idea, Undead Sick. I love it. I love this idea. I think we are caught up. Shonen Kaiju has become a member of the channel. Thank you, Shonen Kaiju. I appreciate that. James Wheeler says, hello, Dieter and Rob. I think my favorite film noir is Between the Big Sleep and Out of the Past. Both of those movies are excellent, James. By the way, he sent in a $20 super chat. Out of the Past and The Big Sleep are great movies. They're still puzzling over the plot of The Big Sleep even today. So we are,
nice.
I think we're caught up. I think we are all caught up, Dieter.
Nice, Rob. Because I have one letter to read that comes from Paul and Brunotto, and he writes to us and says, hello, Rob and Dieter. Hope all is well. Today's topic, animated movies on 4K now. As physical media lovers, know we have a wealth of film, of animation from different studios like Disney, Universal, DreamWorks, Warner Bros., Sony, Paramount, Lionsgate, and of course 20th Century Fox in 4K. With the recent Paramount 4K release of Rango and upcoming June 25th release of the South Park, bigger, longer, and uncut. But what about some of the classic Disney animated movies not on 4K? Like Fantasia, Pinocchio, Bambi, Alice in Wonderland, Lady and the Tramp, Sleeping Beauty, just to name a few. Would love to see the Black Cauldron on 4K, but those chances are slim. I long to see some 20th Century Fox titles like Wizards, The Lord of the Rings, Fire and Ice, Titan AD, The Simpsons movie, Robots. I haven't even mentioned the other studios and what animated gems that are not yet on 4K. With this Tuesday new animated release, Mars Express, which I pre-ordered, available on DVD and Blu-ray, but not on 4K, will any of these titles be released on 4K? Only time will tell. Catch you later, Paul Allen Brunotto. Yeah, Paul.
I mean, it's
probably
a great...
only.
Oh, go ahead.
Probably only Disney. Disney will know that, or 20th Century Fox. Titan ID would be a great one. I always loved that movie.
Look, Disney had its 100th anniversary, and we didn't get Fantasia Fantasia with the Dolby Atmos mix. Mr. Stokowski. I mean, I can't believe that we didn't get... Fantasia was the first, other than Free Enterprise, it was the first physical media release I ever worked on. The first DVD for the Fantasia anthology, the box set with Fantasia and Fantasia 2000 in it. The first piece I ever did was about Herman Schulteis, the physical. There's actual physical effects that they animated over. They rotoscoped, but I did a whole piece on that back in 2000. And it's amazing to me that Pinocchio, Fantasia, Snow White's on 4K, but that we don't have these movies in 4K. It's stunning to me.
Let me just show one that Paul mentioned. I bought Rango on 4K, which comes with this nice.
I really love this movie. I think this movie's great.
Me too. Got Verbinski, so with the 4K and the Blu-ray in it, a really nice steelbook. But considering especially animation, of course 4K is awesome if you get it. But I think Rango is probably a 2K master. I would just assume.
Yeah.
That considering Rango. And the other one that Paul mentioned, let me just see here. Have to check. And Rob's probably looking forward to that movie too. I've got Mars Express in 4K. Paul Allen.
Where'd you get that?
From here, Germany, Rob. It came out in Germany from Keitel with the 4K and with the Blu-ray. Really, really nice movie. Really had a good time with it. It lived up to the good reviews that you heard about it. Really nice one. Even if the themes are probably not too new, but like I always say, it always depends on the packaging, how you package the stuff. So this came out from Keitel here. Let me just see, Rob. Does it come with English subtitles? Yeah, because of course the original language is French. No, there's no English subtitles. Considering the slip.
Oh man.
So, but here it is out, Rob. Paul, in 4K.
That's a bummer. You know, again, America. By the way, can we give a shout out to Gore Verbinski?
Yeah.
I'm a big fan. Obviously, I thought the Ring remake was terrific. You know, and of course, he did 3 Pirates of the Caribbean movies. He did Curse of the Black Pearl, Dead Man's Chest at World's End. He did The Weatherman with Nicolas Cage. And I was a fan of his. Sure, he made movies I didn't like Mouse Hunt and maybe The Mexican, but you know, he went from the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. I think At World's End is I love it. He did The Lone Ranger, which people, you know, I guess the less said the better. Although I think the last hour of that movie is pretty great. And then he did A Cure for Wellness in 2016.
It was the title.
I mean, he's been in like director jail ever since. He does have a movie in production now, something called Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die. And listen to this cast: Juno Temple, Zazie Beetz, Sam Rockwell, Michael Pena. Written by Matthew Robinson. And it is getting made. So it's in production. Hopefully that
nice.
I mean, it's CAA Media Finance. That's really interesting. Constantine Film is making it. So hopefully Gore Verbinski will grace us with his director's acumen soon enough. But look, I'm a big. I didn't like Dead Man's Chest very much, but I really love the fantasy sequences in At World's End. I thought it was really cool.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Haven't heard from him in a long while.
Yeah.
So nice. He comes back.
I agree.
So should we go on, Rob? Physical media.
We should go
Rob,
on.
Just before we go on, Rob.
Uh-oh, here it comes.
A little streaming tip from my end, Rob. I watched. Wait.
Oh, I've been dying to hear if you watch this.
Of course, Rob. And you know who made it, Rob?
I do.
Xavier Gens. Who did
I know.
Great Frontier. And he did the new shark movie, which is out on Netflix, Under Paris. Rob, I had a blast with it. Because he kept keeping up the ante, you know, and it's gotten more ridiculous and over the top and bonkers as it went along. But the great thing, Rob, is we are on the Seine with the police boat. They are not driving in front of a green screen, you know, and it feels so refreshing to see that kind of movie where we are actually on the location. You know, we are not in a studio set. That alone was for me great. And Rob, if you give me a shark movie, I want a lot of people get eaten. And Xavier delivered on that. You know, not only 3 or 4 people are out with their jet skis, you know, there are a little bit more people that bite the dust in Under Paris.
Well, you know, apparently they're having a problem in Paris with people shitting in the Seine. They're shitting in the river in advance of the Olympics. So maybe he can make a sequel where the shark is just eating people that are shitting into the shark's
Rob,
home.
there is something at the end which could lead to more. Because I won't give the ending away, but I could say something, but I won't.
I got to watch it. I can't wait.
Yeah, totally, Rob. If you want to have a blast for 90 to 100 minutes, great. I loved it. Even there was a scene in the catacombs, you know. Wasn't there that movie that just called Catacombs?
Yeah.
That found footage movie. You know, and there was a scene where there was a little bit of a panic, and you would think, that's ridiculous, but I don't think so. You often see where you ask yourself, you see videos where a lot of humans come to a panic, and you don't know exactly why, and they are on a small ceiling, I would say, and it's very wet. So you would say, okay, you're safe from the shark, but they are just on that outskirt, and it's a little bit, of course, slippery when wet. One falls, and then a panic sets in, and you would think it's ridiculous, but if you see something like that in real life, you think, no, it's actually not that ridiculous that the panic gets out there. But for me, Rob, totally a blast. And Paris from Xavier Gens.
Well, there you go.
Yes.
Will you buy it's Netflix, so it might not get a physical media release, but would you buy it?
Unfortunately not. Yeah, totally.
All right.
Totally. And it's I think it's number 1 in the States.
Yeah.
Netflix.
So there you go. All right.
Totally great. Okay. Who goes, Rob?
I don't keep going. Keep going.
Okay. I think, I don't know if you have that in your box behind you, because you got Vinegar Syndrome titles. I told you I will pre-order this from Johnny Toe, Lifeline, a movie which I don't know from Johnny. Pretty early one. So this is, you get the same 2 covers here. So it has a reversible cover artwork, but it's the same on the back. You have a 2
I didn't get that. I got one. I did get one similar to that, but it's directed by Andrew Lau.
Oh, okay. Nice.
So
I don't know this one from John Doe. Wait. Open it up. It feels a little bit heavy, of course. Totally forgot. Don't want to put something under the rug. We get the poster for it. Which probably has the two artworks. And even a booklet. Like I said, this is a totally unknown for me. 4K and Blu-ray. Lifeline.
Well, I'll show you. I got this Vinegar Syndrome. I got A Man Called Hero, directed by Andrew Lau.
Nice one.
And again, I just love these Vinegar Syndrome packages. It's got a slipcase, different.
Nice.
And it does, in fact, have a poster in it. So there's a poster. I won't unfurl it, but I want to get this because why not? Why not? Cool. So we got that from Vinegar Syndrome, which is exciting.
But this was not all from Vinegar Syndrome. If you ever ask yourself, Rob, is there actually a prequel to Civil War? There actually is. Invasion USA is the prequel to Alex Garland's Civil War, because we have a reporter in it too, Rob. I got, of course, Invasion USA, one of Chuck's cult classics, considering his
I saw that in a theater
run. Yeah, I can imagine. And I'm always surprised, Rob. You forget, I had fun with it. Then you watch it again. Actually, it feels very big, Invasion USA.
It does feel. Chuck Zito directed that, didn't he?
Yeah, exactly, Rob. Especially when you think about how our movies done today, with CGI, with stuff like that. And here you see everything real, the airboats, and it feels very big, actually, considering a canon movie, the National Guard comes in later, you got the boats coming, like in the Normandy, a lot of stuff. And Joseph Zito does a great interview on the Vinegar Syndrome disc, where he says he didn't set out to do art with that movie, And Joseph Zito did Friday the 13th part 4.
Yep.
And of course, Missing in Action and Red Scorpion with Dolph Lundgren later. And for me, it still is a blast. Of course, does it make sense logistically? Probably not. It's more one action setup to the next. But considering the movie itself, I'm always surprised how big actually Invasion USA feels. So, Invasion USA, the prequel to Civil War. And what I didn't know, Rob, considering the bonus features, the editor has a little bit of a feature himself, and he actually was the editor of Mother's Day. He started out with X-rated movies. Yeah, he started out on X-rated movies, went to Mother's Day, your favorite from Vinegar Syndrome, and then, got up the ladder, and he was the editor of Invasion USA. And he helped Joseph Zito out on Friday the 13th, part 4, the final chapter, which he actually wanted to do, but Joseph said, no, Paramount has another guy that I wanted to work with. But then, like Europe, he saved the movie. In the last minute, he brought the final chapter to one of the best in the franchise, Invasion USA. So that the only thing is, Rob, I always don't know why Chuck is never featured in special features. Why he don't want to do anything like an audio commentary. Would be nice to hear some statements from him. Even the girl who plays the reporter has a little interview in the bonus features here.
Wow.
So from there, when I saw that, hey, this is a prequel to Civil War. And the next one-up, you order stuff from Vinegar Syndrome, but sometimes I don't look exactly what packaging I'm getting, And then you are blown away and I think, for that movie, that kind of package, are you insane, Vinegar Syndrome? I bought, of course, the Navy SEALs one. Look at that backdrop.
I didn't get either one of those. I thought about it. I didn't get them.
Yeah, I can understand Europe, but I like Navy SEALs, but probably haven't seen it since the VHS. Look in the side, Rob. Here we're playing golf. Look at that, Rob. Look at that.
That's amazing.
Isn't that all for Navy SEALs, Rob? Come on. And then you have a different cover. That's the cover that I mostly know. And Black 4K. And I read a good review considering the quality of.
No, Vinegar Syndrome
4K.
kills it.
Yeah. And not all, Rob. It's like we know these types of box sets. And of course, it comes with a pretty nice booklet too.
Yeah.
About the Louis Teague movie.
Yeah.
Navy SEALs, Rob. Navy SEALs. I never expected this package for Navy SEALs. Awesome. A little bit of my second part of my haul for the last 2 weeks.
Not bad. I mean, I got a ton of stuff from.
Yeah. I give it over to you.
I could rifle through these movies I got from Vinegar Syndrome that I don't know what they are, but they sounded interesting.
Cat in the bags, Rob.
I got a bunch of cat in the bags. First of all, this film World War III.
Okay.
Which I know nothing about, but I have it.
Yeah.
It's from one of their partner labels, and I had to pick that up. Then I can't speak French, but Regine Padovani and Dennis Arcand, Canadian director, that sounded interesting too.
Yeah.
Pick that up. And now check this out. Again, I think this is a Paramount title. I've never seen this, but Dean Martin and Robert Mitchum in 5-card stud. Comes with a reversible cover. I would assume that's the original. And, it's a combination, mystery, thriller, and Western. So I got that, because why not? And can always use more Westerns. Now, here's an interesting one. Now, Alex Chung's Man on the Brink, they talked about this being a prototype for the Triad, the Hong Kong Triad movies, which I'd heard about this movie, but I've never seen it. And again, comes with, I'm sure it has a reversible, it does have a reversible cover. And so I had to get this because I love Hong Kong Triad movies. And this one is a new one. Is
it category free stuff, Rob? I hope it's category free stuff. From the violence.
Yes. I don't know. And then a movie that people told me that they liked that I haven't seen is Simon Killer, which I picked up and which also sounded great. I saw the trailer for it.
Nice.
And again, all of these are cat in the bags, but interesting. I mean, Vinegar Syndrome puts out a lot of crazy stuff. Then a folk horror movie, While the Body Rots to Dust and Bone, There is a Tear in the Heart, Where the Devil Roams, an Addams Family Picture. I think this is a local horror film. Again, don't know much about it. Picked it up.
Is this from the Addams Family, Rob, who does the movies?
Yes, it is.
Awesome. I only saw Hellbender, which they done.
Right,
That was
it good?
great. And I think this was the movie they did before.
Yes.
They film the movie themselves, they edit the movie themselves, they star in their movies themselves, and I think Hellbender was the title, which was great. And this was the one before that. Great that you remind me of that. How was the title, Rob, again? I will make a note.
It is called Where the Devil Roams.
Okay.
Okay, I gotta get. If you like Hellbender, I remember seeing. I didn't get that. I'll probably have to get it. And then this is this crazy, weird, surreal animated movie called Bubble Bath that I picked up, and I'll tell you why I wanted to get this. I knew nothing about Bubble Bath, but having read about it, it reminded me when I first got Showtime. My family first got Showtime. We didn't have cable, so we put a big satellite dish. My parents were nice enough to put a satellite dish on the roof to get Showtime for me, so I could start recording movies. And there was an animated movie called by a woman named Sally Cruikshank called Quasi and the Quackadero. And it was this real, I know, right? Quasi. It was called Quasi and the Quackadero, and I must have watched it 100 times. And I don't know why when I read the description of Bubble Bath on the Vinegar Syndrome website, I'm like, this reminds me of Quasi and the Quackadero, which I do not own. I don't know if you can. I've never even looked into it. I don't know if you can get Sally Cruikshank's Quasi and the Quackadero, but I would want it. So that's why I got that Bubble Bath disc, because it sounded like that. And the last of my haul, the two things left that I have left are, so I bought Little Darlings.
Exactly.
The movie Little Darlings. Well, the same company, cinematography, cinematography. This is Jack Nicholson's second feature film that he directed, Going South, and this company, their Little Darlings box set's amazing, so I figured I had to get this to support. Now, again, this is in fact a Paramount movie. So Little Darlings was a Paramount movie as well. So, and the movie I will show last is also a Paramount movie. So clearly, as Paramount's trying to be sold, they're licensing out their movies to other companies, which is fine because they're doing a great job. So, this has so here's the cover, but look at this. It's like a book. You've got a little thing, nice. You pull this out, and it is like a book. So it's like a book. It's like a media book.
Nice.
And you open it up, and so you've got the discs in here, and this is 4K. And then it is a media book. And you've got photographs and essays, but this is really nice. Very nice packaging, and I always like this movie. I haven't seen this movie in ages, but again, it's Jack Nicholson's second directorial effort. So in a beautiful package. Again, 4K from cinematography. I don't, however you would pronounce it. And this is 5,117 out of 6,000. So it is limited. So there you go.
Do you think they probably make a deal with getting the rights to more movies than one? Considering
I think
probably 5 movies at a whole.
Yeah, maybe, because all these people are licensing out their old catalogs. The studios don't want to put out their own movies. So, and by the way, give them to the boutique labels. They'll pay more attention anyway. Yeah. And then my final disc of the week is one of the weirdest science fiction movies ever made that really was unnerving the first time I ever saw it. This comes to us from Saul Bass, the great title designer, kind of like Charles Laughton, who directed one movie. Saul Bass directed one movie, and that is Phase 4. Awesome. Phase 4 is a very weird science fiction film about scientists who are investigating what appear to be very intelligent ants. And it is a really, if you haven't seen it, it's not disturbing like because of violence, but it is intellectually very, very compelling. And this is a great package. After Phase
Doesn't
4,
it come with the special cut of the movie?
Yeah, there's a different cut of the movie. After Phase 4, Man Will Be No More, and then it's got a. This was the actual. You have the actual cover, which I loved. Some of that artwork, awesome. The ant coming in the hand, and it's great, and it's reversible. There's a book. There's Saul Bass storyboards in here, multiple discs. As a matter of fact, there's actually 3 discs. So you've got the Blu-ray and then the 4K of the movie. But this movie's freaky. If you've never seen it, it's one of my favorite 70s science fiction films. And really terrific. And again, another great package from Vinegar Syndrome. I had this movie when I first bought this, was on VHS. And great package. You go, Vinegar Syndrome, making the most of Paramount's library more than they would ever do with their own library. That is that's my haul for the week.
Awesome. I still have some titles, Rob, but I think we can pivot a little bit, perhaps to the news section, or if you want to see what the super chats are up to.
Yeah, let's see what we got cooking. Let's see. Claudius. Oh, Claudius, our favorite. Claudius is here, and his son Spencer and his lovely wife. Claudius says, I don't know how to say this. Hang on. I'm gonna have to like
did he put some French wording?
German, bro. Yeah. German. He's putting some German here. And I don't know what it is here. I'm gonna put it up and you can read it. I'll put it on the screen so you can see it.
Yeah.
And it's because I don't know what he's saying here. Hold on. Let me find out what he's saying, and I will allow you to read it. Let's see if I've got this here. Okay, let me put it up on the screen for you to read. Hold on. All right. Here's what Claudius has to say, Dieter. I'm going to switch the view and put it on the live output. So here's what Claudius is saying. I do not know what that means.
Also, was ist los, Jungs? What is happening, dudes? Dieter, wait, I must close here a window myself. Happy wishes to our victory against Scotland, because Rob, the football European Cup is on its way, and it is taking part in Germany, and we had, of course, the first game on Friday, where we had a really nice start with a 5-1 against Scotland. And Claudius just thanked me for the win against Scotland. So, Rob, considering that, we'll have to do one tip, Rob. One tip. On Wednesday, we play against Hungary. So you have to do a little tip. Germany against Hungary in the European Cup. And remind you, we did win the first one 5-1, and we play in our home in Germany.
Well, there you go.
What do you say, Rob? You have to get a tip. Germany against Hungary.
Oh, I think Germany wins by 2 goals.
Okay. 2-0?
No. 3-1.
3-1. Okay, Rob.
Yeah.
We will get back to you next week if Rob has still the soccer touch that he showed during the World Cup. You know.
Five Dot Toast
Nice,
says, I imagine Fantasia would be one of the few examples of a 4K Blu-ray where the Atmos mix would be even more obsessed over than the visuals. Hopeful. I agree. I just don't think Disney understands. I mean, look, the fact that we didn't get 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea or Mary Poppins in 4K is blows my mind. Blows my mind. Justin Toner says, hi, guys. I got my Vinegar Syndrome haul last week. Also love the China O'Brien packaging. Did you see Arrow announce Shaw Scope Volume 3? The pre-order is up. I did see that. I will be getting that.
Big package.
That is very true. It looks great. Those Shaw Scope discs are amazing. Kenny Crayley Jr. says, hey, Rob, will you consider having Spencer, the damn fool, idealistic crusader on a future episode of Let's Get Physical Media? I don't know him, but hey, why not?
I haven't heard of him either, Rob. What's his name?
Spencer, the damn fool, idealistic crusader. Nice reference, by the way. On a future episode of our show, we could reach out to him. We got to get also Elliot Cohen from the UK. He's got to come on the show at some point. And then, you know what I want to do? What I want to do is I want to put together a dream team of physical media. Like we'll get Heath, we'll get Twin Flicks, we'll get hopefully Elliot Cohen. And we need to celebrate the 40th anniversary of Criterion, which is this year.
40 years already.
40 years.
Yeah.
Ron Zilla with a $20 super chat says, Robin Dieter, 1983's My Tutor was Sylvia Crystal. A young man having a memorable summer, inspirational film for me in the 80s, possible for a 4K release. Happy Father's Day to you all. Well, I believe My Tutor is Sylvia Crystal, isn't it? Emmanuelle herself. And if Emmanuelle's, you got me my Emmanuelle 4K box set.
Perhaps they could have put that movie too in the box set.
It maybe. Hey, you can't complain. But, yeah, who knows? Never knows. So, yeah, there we go. We're caught up.
Okay.
Would you like to know about the news?
Yeah. What do you have for us?
First of all,
What's coming down?
I think this is Shameless putting out. Shameless is putting out Strip Nude for Your Killer. This is a great sleazy Giallo movie. I always like this. I feel guilty for liking this because it is in fact sleazy, just like we like it. Sex and violence. Oh yes. So this is coming out on Blu-ray from Shameless, and look at that. It's got your favorite label, an 18 label on it.
Yeah, definitely.
An 18 label.
Considering 18, Rob, it's ridiculous that the China O'Brien movies were 18 certificate back in the day when they were released on VHS.
No kidding.
Yeah, here in Germany, they were 18. Rob.
I know.
Insane.
And then we have some classic good stuff. This is Otto Preminger's movie, The Court Martial of Billy Mitchell, starring Gary Cooper and Rod Steiger. Otto Preminger, you should always buy his movies. Of course, things like Anatomy of a Murder. But The Court Martial of Billy Mitchell, I saw this movie a long time ago. I've never owned it. Definitely want to pick that up, just because. Then we have another classic with Burgess Meredith and Robert Mitchum, The Story of G.I. Joe. Rock, or in this case, Sergeant Rock. The Story of G.I. Joe coming out. And classic film, why not? Let's get that. And then, of course, Severin, our beloved Severin. The power of Severin. They have announced coming out a new box set of Dario Argento's opera. You know what Severin can do with Dario Argento movies is unsurpassed. I mean, look at this cover. Look at that big box.
Oh, that's great.
I love opera. I can't wait to get this one. I'm sure going to look spectacular. So good on Severin. They've also have coming out Castle of Blood, little Barbara Steele action, coming out in 4K. So both of these are definitely worth picking up. Hey. A League of Their Own coming out as an individual set. I mean, you can get them in the Columbia set, but this is coming out individually, which is great.
Nice.
In 4K. Now, Kino Lorber, part of Kino Cult. Kino Lorber is an unofficial sponsor of this channel. Actually, kind of an official sponsor of this channel, I would say. They have 4 great cult titles coming out as part of their cult label, Kino Cult. First up, Food of the Gods. I went and saw these movies in the 70s, man, when they came out. I mean, they're not great, but they're fun. Food of the Gods, and then perhaps one of the greatest pieces of key art for any movie ever, Frogs. With Ray Milland and Sam Elliott. Come on, look at that. A human hand in a frog's mouth. Today the pond, tomorrow the world. That's right, Frogs.
That's a tagline.
Frogs, there you go. That is a tagline. And then I love this. This is the best. Empire of the Ants, starring everyone's favorite, Joan Collins. H.G. Wells' Empire of the Ants, Nature Strikes Back. I mean, I love that they have this Nature Strikes Back thing. You go, Kino Cult. I haven't figured out the philosophy of what Kino Cult puts out, but these 4 titles... And then, not to be outdone...
Was this the Asylum title against Phase 4?
Yeah, no, it wasn't. It wasn't. But, Ants, there's a long history from them all the way to Empire of the Ants. I mean, come on now. And then, of course, their 4th title, not to be outdone, is Squirm. This was the Night of the Crawling Terror. Again, look at that. Look at that artwork. You go, Kino Cult. Maybe we'll get a reversible sleeve on all of these. Why not? They're all fun. Show them to your kids. You got to start those nightmares soon enough. Be a good father on Father's Day and show your kids Frogs, Food of the Gods, Empire of the Ants, and Squirm. Why not? 8-year-olds will love it. And then we got a movie I've never heard of that's coming out called G.
I pre-ordered it just from the cover alone.
I was going to say, I know nothing about this movie. It's just called The G.
The G.
And I was like, is this an Andrew Tate biopic? Or I don't know. Top G? I don't know what this is.
Cat in the bag.
Cat in the bag. But like you said, look at that cover. Look at that cover.
The laurels, some nice quotes on it. Okay.
There you go. Just the G. And then, of course, Pray for Rock and Roll with Gina Gershon. Gina Gershon's one of the sexiest women who ever lived, and she's never been sexier than in this movie. I know she was sexy as hell in Bound and sexy in Showgirls, but look at this. Clad in leather, Pray for Rock and Roll, coming out. Then this is all I got for this one. This is the only cover I've got. But from A24, and I love their releases, Zone of Interest, a movie that's about your homeland. Zone of Interest is coming out.
Nice party movie, Rob.
It's a total party movie. It's so much fun. But, from the man who gave us Birth and who gave us Under the Skin, I thought Zone of Interest was really, really great. And can't wait to get it. Coming out from Kino Lorber, Jean-Pierre Melville in 4K. Yes, indeed. I already have the red circle. Bob Le Flambeur. I love Bob Le Flambeur. I love Jean-Pierre Melville. Obviously, he made Le Samurai, and he made Army of Shadows. But we're getting Bob Le Flambeur, and forgive my French, we're also getting Les Doulos with Jean-Paul Belmondo. Another Jean-Pierre Melville movie. His crime thrillers are amazing, and they're in 4K, and they're coming from Kino. Yay, yay, yay. Talk about more French awesomeness from Mr. Godard. Alphaville. I love Alphaville. It's a great science fiction movie. If you haven't seen it, it's coming out in 4K. I think I've owned this on just about every home video format that exists. I'm happy to get it again. So Alphaville is coming for you sci-fi fans. Combine the 1960s with science fiction, you get Alphaville. Oh, yeah. Love it. Can't wait to get it. Very excited to get this in 4K. Because I'll never have to buy it again. Look at this. Anchorman, The Legend of Ron Burgundy in 4K. Look at that swag. Look at this box of fun.
How many discs are in it, Rob? Are there?
I have
all 2 parts.
It looks like there's 3 discs.
3 discs, okay.
Yeah. I don't know. Is this both movies? I don't know.
Perhaps, I don't know.
I don't know.
It
but
only says The Legend, but why are there 3 discs?
Maybe there's an extended cut or something.
Okay. Could be.
Could be. And then finally, I think you sent this to me. I don't know anything about this, but it's coming out. You'll Never Find Me. Profoundly creepy and thrillingly bold.
Rob.
Yeah, you recommended this, so it's coming out on disc. Obviously, it's another great Shudder title. You actually took the
Exactly.
time to text or to WhatsApp
Yeah.
me that cover. Tell us
Yeah.
about that movie. Why should people get it?
Because it's a great independent movie which is only set on one location, and it has a great sound design, Rob, which of course if you watch on Shutter you only get the stereo mix. There's a great 5.1 mix, Rob, and go in blind, Rob. Go in blind, don't read anything, don't watch any trailers. It gets a little bit formulaic considering the ending, but journey to it, great. Tension filled from the get-go, Rob. From the get-go. And only with two people. Rob. Only two
Wow.
people talking, Rob. Isn't that your gem, Rob? Only two people
Only 2 people
talking.
I wish.
Yeah.
And so now
For me, it just shows how great horror can be with not great big setups, just very intimate horror.
nice.
Really great one. One of my favorites this year. We'll never.
Really? Well, that's a ringing endorsement.
Almost
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Now we get
The
into
Rotten
some
Tomato sticker is correct, Rob.
the
fresh,
tomatoes.
fresh one.
Okay. The tomato sticker is
Unfortunately, Rob.
correct.
Yeah, we'll have it. Yeah.
That's fantastic. Now we get into top-selling Blu-ray discs. Dune Part 2, The Beekeeper, Rango, Doctor Who, the Peter Davidson years, the
Rango,
complete
nice.
second season. Oppenheimer, Glory, Star Wars, Andor, the complete first season. Aquaman, The Lost Kingdom, The Hunger Games, The Ballad of Songbirds and
hanging on.
Snakes, and
Still hanging on.
Imaginary hanging in there. That's the Blu-rays. Here are the 4Ks, Dune Part 2, Rango, Glory, Star Wars, Andor, Oppenheimer, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, Lawrence of Arabia, that should be higher, by the way, Killer Clowns from Outer Space, Crimson Peak on Arrow, and, of course, Kino Lorber in the top 10, Bad Lieutenant.
Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
I saw it in the theater. I went and saw it in theater. I don't need to own it.
Me neither.
You know. So there's the news that's fit
That's
to
great.
print.
Yeah, it's out on 4K. So I still have titles left to show, Rob.
Show us what you got, buddy.
The only thing, Rob, considering the Severin release that you showed, Opera, I already, and you too, Rob, own already the Opera set. So for me, this is still fine enough.
Yeah.
Fine enough. But speaking of Severin, Rob, considering when you watch, like you said, older movie, always 40 years old now, or over 40 years, and I had such a good time, never expected it, because I never watched it. This was my first time for the movie Butcher Baker, Nightmare Maker.
Oh, what'd you think?
Great. It totally opened, Rob, with, already the car flipping out, and I was, what is happening here? Totally great movie. Never seen it back in the day. I don't know why, actually. And I know there is, when you buy it on Severin's website, the separate great O-ring, but I did go for the little cheaper one, Amazon. But it comes actually with a reversible cover artwork.
Yeah.
But I like this one more. And this is the motive you can get when you purchase this at Severin as a slip cover. So for me, totally great. Still holds up. Perhaps Rob even a little bit ahead of its time.
I think so too.
With the gay topics in it,
Yep.
the racist cop. So perhaps even a little bit ahead of its time back in the day. The next one up, you showed the cover, and I had to say, well, I had to get it. The devil's honey, Rob, from Lucio Fulci. With of course the best instrument
Placement in any movie ever.
Yeah.
Cover.
Exactly. And this is the separate slipcase
Yep.
that you can get with that cover when you purchase the title on Severin's website. But there's a reversible slip cover here too. But I haven't seen this movie, so it's a cat in the bag too for me. But Butcher Baker, I was unbelievable. Still, what an awesome movie. Even considering the blood The blood in it was there. I thought, damn, never came across that movie. And Rob, you showed it in the charts. It made the charts. I got my glory.
Oh, nice.
4K steal from, of course, Sony with the 4K and the Blu-ray. The next one up, I know, one of the most controversial directors. I know, but I had to get it, and I actually find out, Rob, that I didn't need it, but it's not about because of the movie, because just I have the director's cut already, and this is actually on 4K, the US theatrical version, and I know it's controversial, but it's one of his best from Dr. Uwe Boll. I bought Postal. But there's, if someone actually finds this appealing, the good thing, Rob, there is a Blu-ray which contains the director's cut. The problem with the 4K is actually not the picture quality of it. It only comes with a stereo mix, and the stereo mix is somewhat confusing because I always use, when I watch a movie in stereo, my ProLogic 2 movie setting with my receiver, and the receiver had totally a tough time focusing the voices on the center. There was something off with the stereo mix. I don't know why this version can't be in 5.1, but you get the director's cut on the Blu-ray as an extra, which comes with the DTS Master 5.1 audio track, which the German Blu-ray from 2008 had too. So I don't know why the theatrical version doesn't come with a 5.1 track. And I have to say, there are some jokes in it that made me laugh out loud still to this day. Postal from Uwe Boll. In his filmography, Rob, Postal is very, very up there, you know. If Osama says, shotgun, he wants to write shotgun, that gets a laugh out loud boom. And I always forget, Rob, J.K. Simmons is in Postal. You know? It's
Yeah, he is.
Little bit of it. And you showed it, Rob, as an A24 release. I got the German one already, not from A24 itself. I got the Zone of Interest German media book. Just black because, you know, it's a nice party movie. So with the 4K too, and the Blu-ray, really looking forward actually to watching it again, you know, just for the sound design alone.
Yeah.
Which did get the Academy Award this year. Jenseits der Mauer, beyond the wall, you know. Yeah, what is happening there? So really,
That's like a travel log for you.
Yeah, a nice stomach turner, you know, considering the ending. Zone of Interest. Cat in the Bag for me, Rob. I think I stumbled across a YouTube review and I thought, oh, this looks nice. French movie, I think. Let me know. I think it's French. Yeah, language is French. But this is the UK, the US release. Perhaps, I don't know if you heard about this movie, Rob, called Pandemonium. It's an Arrow release.
Yeah, I don't know. I saw it. I don't know anything about it.
Yeah, me too, Rob. Cat in the Bag, and it comes with poster, which is the same artwork, and booklet too. But it's not a 4K. It's only, like we are almost disappointed. It's only a Blu-ray. But Cat in the Bag, I hope it will deliver. Actually, Rob, did you order Night Siren from Arrow?
No, not yet.
No, not yet. Okay. Then, Rob, you showed it in the news thing. Oh, wait, I'll keep that a little bit back. And it's always great to close gaps like Butcher Baker, Nightmare Maker. And this one, actually, even if I'm a fan of Michelle, I never seen that movie from Karen Kusama. I finally got
nice.
Girl Fight.
I really like that movie.
Criterion Collection. Yeah, me too. Because, Rob, this has authorship and verisimilitude.
Yes.
Even with the sound design, if you're on the streets, you know, in Brooklyn, so this has the precious.
I'm a fan of. I mean, Karen Kusama. I would love to get Destroyer, and I love
especially Rob.
The
After I've
Invitation.
seen the movie, I went to her filmography and I thought, what else did she do? Because I didn't have remembered. And like you said, there was Destroyer. So she has a very diverse, actually, considering which movie she made. Just see, I have it somewhere. There was Jennifer's Body, exactly, with Megan Fox, and The Invitation, I always forget. And even Eon Flux with Charlize Theron. So pretty diverse, actually, considering the movies that she made. And the Criterion comes with booklet. Transfers really, really nice, even if it's not 4K. So, Girl Fight from 2000. So, this was that. Then, Rob, you haven't shown it actually. Kino Lorber titles, don't know. Well, they were missing on your end, perhaps. Or you perhaps showed it and I didn't know it. Of course, I got Perfect Weapon with Jeff Speakman, which says here comes from a new 4K scan of the original camera negative. And speaking of Rob, a Paramount title 2, Perfect Weapon from Jeff Speakman. The next one I already actually own as a cool German edition, but this comes only with the longer cut. So I got the Kino Lorber 2, which comes with 3 cuts of the movie and actually I think it's a new director's cut, which is somewhere, it seems, in the middle, considering the running time. Not as long as the international version, which runs over 2 hours, but a little bit longer than the theatrical version. From Stephen Norrington, director of Blade. So we got one with the foreign theatrical cut. Here's the US theatrical cut and the director's cut. Death Machine. Always.
You know, it's funny. You just reminded me. You reminded me.
Oh, you got stuff from Kino Lorber to show. Oh, look at that. Just threw me under the bus, Rob. Yeah.
No, because, you know, first of all, remembering Gene Wilder, the Gene Wilder documentary, got that from Kino Lorber, which is amazing. And then, of course, yes, Death Machine, a great release. I did get that. I did get Death Machine. A movie called Lost Souls, which was at Tribeca, which I don't know much about. Did get that. And, of course, I did get The Perfect Weapon, Jeff Speakman.
Awesome.
But you know what I did get, too? Kino Cult, baby. Kino Cult number 17. Nude for Satan.
Ooh.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Nude for Satan. Because why not? And then The Hidden Master, and this is George Platt Lines. Another documentary. And this is In the Company of Kings. Tales of courage, friendship, and despair from sports' meanest streets. They're killing it with the documentaries. And then, of course, the Ken Loach movie, The Old Oak. I got that.
Yeah.
And Arthur, this is not, I'm not making this up. This is called Arthur Dong's Asian American Stories, Forbidden City, USA, Sewing Woman, Hollywood Chinese, and the story of Dr. Hang Nor, who was in Killing Fields. So I got that. And then finally, bringing up the rear, this is certified fresh. Was it Lo Capitano? Which I don't know anything about.
Yeah.
So I got that as well. I totally forgot. Thank you for reminding me.
Forgot.
Thank you, Kino Lorber. But, you know, this is Stephen Norrington's Norrington's first film, who directed Blade.
Yeah. Awesome. I think, Rob, this could be our biggest haul ever, considering this show.
It's crazy. By the way, did you notice that William Hootkins is in this? Porkins.
Ooh.
Porkins from Star Wars and Top Men from Raiders of the Lost Ark. Just saying.
So, Rob, we still have I have still 2 titles. We'll keep that.
Oh my God!
Back. But I could do, Rob. You could take a break. I could do the live chat, or should we do some super chats left?
I don't know if we got super chats left.
Okay.
Let's see if we do. Doesn't look like. Let me check. I got multiple places to check. I think we're good. I think we're caught up.
Okay.
People probably left. Like enough of these fools.
So if they left, Rob, it's the perfect time for the live chat readout.
Here we go.
We can take a break, Rob, and as we previously on Let's Get Physical Media. GA! Hey, Dieter, are you a fan of Senda Berger? Of course, I know Senda, one of the most famous German actresses, but I wouldn't say I'm a fan or have a big knowledge of her whole filmography. But, of course, I know of her. Alpental, speaking of true noir, anybody watch the Apple show Sugar with Colin Farrell? Nice homage to noir movies. Rob, have you seen Sugar?
Oh, I have.
On Apple. Okay. Your take?
I have. As a matter of fact, I was talking about this with Modesty Blaze yesterday on our member chat. Yes, I've seen Sugar. Do you know anything about it?
No.
Okay, I would say watch it.
Okay.
And don't read anything about it. Don't go online. Just watch Sugar. Colin Farrell gives a great performance.
Is the show already completed?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's on Apple. And watch, by the way, what's it called? Dark Matter.
Dark Matter?
Watch Dark Matter.
Nice. Clarence Markwell. Dieter can play the Red Baron in the next audio project. I will forward it to Rob. Timmons. Watched Furiosa for a second time on Friday. Actually found it better second time around. Tim, me too. I actually watched it a second time too, and I thought, it got better. Siggy! Furiosa was entertaining, 7 out of 10. This was my first rating too, but now I'm actually at an 8. Handello, just here to remind everyone that Rob and Dietz are absolute legends. Okay, nice to hear that. Kondo 007.
I want to add to that. In our own minds.
In our own minds. Kondo 007. Who's excited about Twister on 4K? Me. Actually, I'm really excited for it. Mr. Gonzal 09. Who's ready for the Desperado 4K and the Mexico Trilogy box set? I still haven't made up my mind if I'm only getting Desperado.
Me neither. I haven't either.
I haven't made up my mind yet. Stubble McShave. Anya Taylor-Joy is a good actress, but she's not a big draw. Actually, Stubble, at this point in time, no.
Bait, I don't mean to interrupt you, but I just want to give another shout out to Kino Lorber for Kino Lorber Kino cult title 17, Nude for Satan. I'd like to read this quote on the back. It says, "This is an exploitation film that is knee deep in nudity, Satanism, and lesbianism." So let's bring our subject matter full circle. Nude for Satan, Kino Cult, title number 17. My God, Satanism and lesbianism, they go together like chocolate and peanut butter. So bring it on. Bring it on. Nice. Cancelled.
Victor Fontaine, considering the Twister 4K, says, I was excited for the Twister 4K until I saw the horrible Matrix-like green color timing. Let's wait up and see how.
Wait, for which film?
For Twister 4K. There is some strange green color timing, it seems, considering some first pictures about it. Ziggy, watching Furiosa and Dolby Theater really feel the engine roar worth the money. Exactly. Just that alone was worth it. Marco, how many more desert-based post-apocalypse biker gang movies do we really need? In the 80s, a lot. Secular Monk, I did get to see Godzilla -1 at long last, best Godzilla film I have seen. Mike T, what's that shirt, Dieter? I hope this was the the one I was wearing last week, was Angry Joe. Are you out of your fucking mind? You know? Angry Joe, one of the OGs considering video games. Tim Hens, that atomic press blast scene in the movie is incredible to say the least. Mr. Gonzalo 09 says, I haven't watched it yet, says, the stream is awesome. Good to know. Haven't got around to it. And Tim Hens asks, is diabolical? I wouldn't say that, Tim, but what I like actually about the diabolic movies is, sounds a little bit off now, he has no problems killing cops. so he's not really a Robin Hood, you know, considering that you say, oh, he's just a nice thief. No, not really. And that gives the character a little bit of a danger factor. So it's not that he's like, oh, it's all just cops and robbers. No, not with diabolic. But I wouldn't call it diabolical. And Tim says Dietz likes his revenge trash releases. Of course. H. Wheat, Christus Dot, Terry, I tried it the best I can. Winter Soldier movie was great because it had good shootouts. More Marvel films need them. We always need good shootouts. Hardroid Cowboy Cinema. Rob, do you have Godzilla -1 yet? As far as I know, no, because we don't have another physical media release besides the Japanese one, which doesn't have English subtitles. Timmons, will you need to have to watch the new Captain America movie is you have not watched the Falcon TV show? I wouldn't say no, because the TV show was just about Falcon becoming the Winter Soldier, so I would assume you wouldn't need to see the show for enjoying the movie. And I was under the impression, at least from my end, I quite enjoyed Falcon and the Winter Soldier, but that's the last good remnants of the MCU, but not for all. Docs GR, Falcon and Winter Soldier is what made me quit the MCU. Hardroid Cowboy Cinema, Falcon and Winter Soldier was so mediocre, and Marco says Falcon and Winter Soldier was terrible. Castle Grayskull, should I keep my VHS tapes or transfer them? He asked. Well, Castle Grayskull, I would say you buy the Blu-ray or 4K now. I don't know what kind of VHS tapes you are referring to, of course. Fox One, when is Godzilla -1 4K out in the UK? Anyone? Any idea? No, not today. We still haven't gotten any other confirmation about a physical media release besides of Japan. Mike Kirby, is there an address I can use to send Dieter some physical media? It's not on Rob's website, but I have a gift list on that great big online dealer, and I think you can find the address out there if you really want to send me something, or from the gift list itself. Brian Knight, Robert and Dieter saw some Captain America artwork with Cap wearing a full mask similar to Ant-Man. Yeah, this is probably the new look that they are going for. Alpenthal, there's an interesting video from today about the John Woo movie rights situation outside Asia on the Fanatical Dragon channel. Take a look. I actually saw that, Alpenthal, considering the rights with John movies, Hard Boiled, Bullet in the Head, and I know they're getting a release here. Hard Boiled is already out. The Killer is out, and I know something. It's a bootleg, but for me, Hard Boiled is totally a fine release here. I totally can recommend it. For me, if nothing else comes across, I'm totally fine with it, and I'm really looking forward to Bullet in the Head here. Siggy, Hope and Glory is great. I've been posting links in X when people complain about Furiosa. Nice, Siggy. Charlie the Unicorn, Furiosa was decent. Hope and Glory showed what you can do with a small budget. Secular Monk really thought about the American Hustle 4K, but is that much of an upgrade from the Blu-ray? That's always a personal question. If you upgrade a title, is it worth it? It depends on how you love or like the movie. Is it really worse? But considering Sony, you know what you're getting, but probably the Blu-ray was great too. Tim Hens said, Olga Kurylenko sadly reduced to doing straight to physical media trash. Yeah, probably because I watched Paradox Effect, which really wasn't great. But I don't blame Olga. Considering the movie itself, you read the script, okay, I play an ex-junkie, have to take care of my daughter. So just from a script thing, I think you read it and think, oh, sounds fine, sounds good. But the end product, that's why movies are hard to make, was a little bit different. Castle Grayskull, as I've never seen this movie. Is it good? Rob, is the rat good? The raid. Is the raid good? Should.
Well, dude, what do you mean? What are you talking about? Come on, man.
Yeah.
You mean
I've
the
never seen
rad?
this movie,
Is it good?
She says.
It's not just good. It's like losing your virginity. Good.
Exactly. And HV Christodot remind me, considering Beukel's word, about the actor's name, Yayan, Ruyan. When I see him, I know, I will probably get my martial arts fill. Justin Toner, the Raid 4K Steelbook is not a limited edition one, is it? I have Raid 1 and 2 on Blu-ray, so not in a rush to upgrade yet. Justin, here you are wrong. The Raid is one of the titles that is definitely worth picking up on 4K. Considering American Hustle, that could be a give or take, but the Raid is definitely a must.
Oh, it's definitely an upgrade.
Yeah. And Castle Grayskull asks, any ninjas in the movie? No, actually not in the Raid, but the Raid is already so good. Even with ninjas, it would be insane. Charlie the Unicorn, is there a name for Deed's collection similar to the Observatory? And Adventure Square says, yeah, there's Pendasphere. The Pendasphere. Mr. Gonzalez.
The Pendasphere. I love that.
Yeah. Me too. Great Adventure Square. And Rob, we had, of course, a little bit on the news section last week, 2 weeks ago, about the Friends 4K set. And Mr. Gonzalo 9 asked, of course, the obvious one, where's the Seinfeld 4K? Exactly. And considering Friends, Michael Preston, I hated that show. Matt, I've never seen Friends. I've got to watch it. And just see, Mr. Gonzalo 9, I hate Friends. Daniel Steenstem, Friends -1. Okay. Secular Monk, the whole series for $250. I don't care much about this, but I would get Seinfeld. Me too, Secular Monk. Toxic Waltz and 8. I'm not ashamed to admit I enjoy watching Friends more than Seinfeld. That's heresy. It's heresy here. Adventure Square, I liked Friends more than Seinfeld too. They were just mostly nicer people. Yeah, but probably more fake than the Seinfeld people. Ishai, it was considering the Friends, we talked a little bit about what we can expect from the transfer. It was shot on film. They did scan the Sopranos film recently. Probably did the same with Friends. So perhaps good will come with the Friends 4K set. And Ishai reminds us only Desperado is 4K in the Mexico trilogy. Just keep that in mind before you get too excited.
People keep correcting me on that one.
Yeah. It is a little bit confusing, Rob, if you put out, the press release 4K, and if you don't read the fine print, you think, oh, all 3 movies are in 4K, nice box set, and then, oh no, it's not all in 4K. BCH says, I thought after Dieter, everyone's favorite German was Werner Herzog. Would be. The Purple Yoda. The Serbian movie is evil and should be cast into fires of hell or just put behind in your shelf, There are 2 places for a Serbian film. Clarence Markwell, nobody wants to get up and put a disc in a player, screw around with menus, skip previews, and wait through a piracy warning anymore. This is just dog hoarding. Yep, this is hoarding, definitely. Matt, who is buying Imaginary? I haven't seen Imaginary, but mixed things about. I don't know. And Margot says, who the hell buys Matt and Matt? I don't know. You don't know, Margot. Punking. Whenever I get a new TV or sound system, I always watch Blade Runner, Star Trek the Motion Picture, and the Bond films. Yeah, we all have our go-to movies.
Yeah, Blade Runner sounds incredible. The whole that low bass rumble in the beginning.
Yeah, totally. Big Disc Energy. Has anyone seen In a Violent Nature? It looks good. Unfortunately not, but I'm really looking.
I heard it wasn't so good.
Yeah. Clarence Markwell. Rob should start his own video store so we can rent some of these. Rob will never rent out any of his movies. Never.
No one touches my discs. You know, it's like the character in Stripes. None of you touch my stuff. Yeah. Lighten up, Francis. I will never lighten up. Nobody.
Or the great Rob, Riders of Justice, you know, when he assembled the computer. Just leave it there. Just leave it there. Just leave it there.
No one. I mean, you know, I can understand. I get it, but I just rather I don't let people touch my books or my discs. They can touch my monkey, but they can't touch my books or my discs.
So Clarence,
everything else you can touch.
So Clarence, unfortunately, no video store in the Redlands. Justin Toner, the best CGI is when you don't realize you are seeing CGI on the screen. Exactly. Ziggy says, Mad Max 2015 is a fun video game. Car combat, hand-to-hand combat, and world exploration. Great world building too. Considering Furiosa came out and the video game gets actually a little bit of a rejuvenation. I bought it actually digitally because now it's really a Schnäppchen. I think $7 or €7 what, but I haven't gotten around to it yet. Adventure Square, that Mad Max game truly captures the mood. The cars are fun to drive, and the combat works well enough. Charlie the Unicorn, I think Rob, you answered this morning on Observations, but get asked. Have you thought about making an animation to go with the radio play or the audio drum?
We absolutely could. I just want to get. You know, I hate to say it, just have AI generated. You know, here's a prompt: make an animated film out of this audio track. No, but you could. You absolutely could. I think that would definitely be something really, really interesting because it'll all be finished. I mean, if somebody wanted to do that, why not? Yeah. I think that could be very, very cool.
And Big This Energy, it sucks that they replaced a bunch of music in Scrubs, the TV show, for the streaming versions due to rights issues. Hold on to the DVDs. The music was a crucial part of the show.
Yeah.
Changing the music makes no sense exactly. Rob, I don't know if you can tell us. You told me. What did you need to pay for Burn, Baby Burn, Disco Inferno for the Tango Shalom trailer to use that song?
Oh, yeah. Well, we couldn't. I mean, it was massively expensive. I mean, just so, you know, people, I always tell this story, but 25 years ago when I was editing Free Enterprise, you know, I put all my favorite 80s songs in it. And we, and a lot of obscure stuff. And we had festival rights, which means we could use the movies for film festivals. And then once we sold the movie to distribution, we would go back and then pay a certain amount of money. When the film sold for distribution, our music rights would have cost us more money than the film itself. We had over $1.5 million of music, so I was put in a position where all the music that I had carefully curated and put into the movie, I couldn't use. And so we had a soundtrack deal with Network Records out of Canada. We had a deal with Network America, and Spring Aspers, who's now very important executive in the music industry. She was my music supervisor. So for the record company gave us $50,000, and they gave us a lot of their artists. So we had a lot of artists. That's how we got Sarah McLachlan's band Manufacture in the movie. But they wanted, for the soundtrack, they wanted 4 songs specifically. And I wanted for the movie, She Sells Sanctuary by The Cult, Underwater Boys by Shriekback, Duran Duran's Planet Earth, and Frankie Goes to Hollywood's Welcome to the Pleasure Dome. Those 4 songs were critical for the soundtrack album. each song costs $10,000. So when you're talking music rights, if you're looking at a TV series, it can get so exorbitantly expensive so quickly. I mean, I can only imagine. That's why Miami Vice was held up a lot on.
And I think Malcolm in the Middle had problems with the release too.
And the reason, look, people forget, but when Fast Times at Ridgemont High came out, and when John Carpenter's The Thing came out in '82, they did not have the rights to use Stevie Wonder's Superstition. Knowles is playing Superstition on his boombox when he's cleaning the kitchen and roller skating around. Yeah. They couldn't use that. It wasn't until later that they restored that song that somebody paid the money. But music rights are a huge problem. I think, now correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know if WKRP in Cincinnati finally got released, but one of my favorite TV series of all time, Wise Guy, did a whole arc in the music industry. Glenn Fry's in it. They couldn't, to this day, they've released the Dead Dog Records arc, but they don't have a lot of the music in it. And it's really unfortunate that that's the case, but that's just the way business works. It ain't show friends, it's show business. Yeah. So that happens a lot with, because no one thought about home video rights like in the beginning. They weren't thinking about different rights for different things. People just said, well, the song's in the movie. So they had to change out things for Fast Times at Ridgemont High, and when it first came out. So that's always been a problem in the home video era. Always.
Yeah. Always. Biggest Energy, is that the Cobra original extended cut? No, this is just the normal R-rated cut. The Purple Yoda asks Europe, have you seen the comedy classic and very underrated movie Jekyll and Hyde Together Again from 1982?
Oh, I saw that in the theater. I don't know if it's underrated.
And it starred Elvira. So Rob has seen it back in the day.
Yeah.
Alex Sober. Amazon hates customers. They have mangled so many shipments for me. They actually put the Cheers Complete Series Blu-ray box in a paperback. Yeah, I know that paperback, Alex Sober. Albetal, considering the Johnny Toe movie that we showed, Liveline is one of Johnny's Shaw Brothers movies shortly before he founded Milky Way, his own company. I learned in the last days. Nice to know. Adventure Square, truly impressive. The makers of Hope and Glory are going places. Pete and Cat, considering I showed the Black Sabbath, the Tony Martin era, and he says, I saw them on the Headless Cross tour at the Apollo in Manchester. Cozy Powell on drums, legend. Yeah, I saw them on the Headless Cross tour as well. And for me, Pete, When Death Calls is a track that is on the CD, and I thought, when I first heard it, no, it's a nice track. But when 1,000 people scream When Death Calls, that song gets a little bit of a different vibe. And the last one, Biggest Energy, streaming is killing both physical media and theaters. When studios finally kill theaters and physical media, they'll finish the job and kill streaming, and the end of civilization will follow. Rob's nightmare, the end of civilization.
It's true.
Rob, this was the live read chat out from.
Well, I think we've come to the end of our show, but I wanted to remind everyone of something that's incredibly self-serving and egomaniacal on my part. And it's our show, so I can do that. Today, June 16th, is the 4-year anniversary of the home video release of, wait for it, The Hills Run Red. The Hills Run Red is a movie, of course, that I developed and produced along with director Dave Parker. Look at that. That's Babyface. Dave Parker, one of my oldest, dearest friends in the world. He directed the film, and he was the primary mover in terms of the construction of the film, everything about it. He really conceived of it. Our good friend Dave Scow, who wrote The Crow along with John Shirley. Dave Scow came in and rewrote the entire screenplay. And Scream Factory finally, it was not out on Blu-ray since 2009 when it originally came out. There was no Blu-ray for it until 2020. And right when the pandemic broke out, Scream Factory said, okay, you guys can do this. So starting in April of 2024, in April of 2020, or March of 2020, Dave Parker and I worked on special features. and look at how many special features. Look at all new. I've liked to say that this is one of the most self-indulgent special feature DVD. It's packed with special features, and Dave handled the modern retrospective pieces, and I went back and delved into all of my footage that I shot on set in Bulgaria. So if you want to know how a low-budget indie horror film goes from being a $350,000 movie to being a studio movie with Joel Silver being your executive producer, this is I'm very proud of the package that Dave and I put together for this disc. And again, it's how I spent the first months of the pandemic, just working, streaming on YouTube, and then working on this release. And I'll tell you something, there aren't many of these discs left. Scream Factory, I think, is down to their last 100. So again, I'm really proud of the movie. I'm proud of what we did. Loved producing this movie. Loved working with Dave. This represented 3 years of our lives to get this movie made. I would consider this film an epic win from the way it started out with us to a disc with this many special features. And interestingly enough, this was nominated for a Rondo Award for Best Physical Media Release with the special features. Of course, it was the same year that Second Sight put out Dawn of the Dead. So I did not vote for my own movie. I voted for Second Sight's Dawn of the Dead. Normally, I would vote for my own movie. Shh, don't tell Dave Parker that. But yeah, so if you're interested, that's right. We don't just talk about shit on this channel. We make stuff on this channel. And
I love the title of the making of, Rob. It's not real until you shoot it.
Yeah, now that was something, that was a line from the film. And, it's really interesting. Bill Sadler, who plays Death in Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey.
Yeah.
I mean, I worked with Bill Sadler. He was the first person we wanted to hire, working with Bill Sadler. I might have just worked with Bill Sadler again.
Ooh,
you never know.
Okay.
You never know. I might have just, the villain from Die Hard 2, Shawshank Redemption, Trespass. Bill Sadler is the man.
Demon Knight.
I might have worked with him again. He might play a character in something I'm working on. Who's to say? Hypothetically. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe. Maybe I work with him. Maybe I'm working with him starting on January 24th or June 24th. Maybe working with him on June 24th. Hypothetically. Right.
Do you have time, Rob, still?
Oh, yeah. I just have to drain the main vein, but let's see what you can do, buddy. Okay. All right. I see it. I see what you're doing there.
About Will Decker. First question, Rob. Will Decker was demoted as captain of the Starship Enterprise when what alien entity threatened Earth?
Veacher.
Yeah. All right. With whom did Captain Will Decker once have a romantic relationship?
Ilea.
Correct, Rob. Where was Will Decker stationed when he was romantically involved?
Delta 4.
Thank you, Rob, for the quick answer before I didn't even get the question out. God damn it, Rob. When did Will Decker and Leah physically join with Ouija? When did Will Decker and Leah physically join with Ouija?
Well, after Will Decker reconnected V'ger, the burnt out thing, and the final sequence was sent, the NASA code was sent.
Rob, this is one of those questions where even I say, how will you exactly can give the correct answer to that?
Well, it happens at the climax of the movie where Will Decker connects the connections, and they ask NASA for the code to find out the code to transmit V'ger's, the Voyager probe is asked to transmit its final signal back to Earth, and that's what happens. And they send the final transmission, the final sequence, and then V'ger starts transmitting its information, and they meld, they bond.
Okay.
What does it say?
They say here, considering, I give you the multiple choices here, before explosion 9, Epsilon 9 was destroyed,
no.
After V'ger entered the solar system, before Sonic beamed on board. before Sonic beamed on board D, and then there's no more else here, Rob.
Well, it would be after V'ger entered the solar system.
Yeah, exactly.
See, that's a dumb answer.
Yeah. And the last one, Rob. Who took command of the Starship Enterprise away from Will Decker?
Admiral James T. Kirk.
Correct, Rob. Correct. This was the trivia.
There you go, buddy.
Correct, Rob. There you go. So, Rob, have you any super chats left?
I think we're good. Let me check and see if
Yeah.
anybody fired. Oh, no. You know what? Anonymous said, do either of you own the show Moonlight with the vampire private investigator? I do not.
No, I don't.
I do not. I think that show, didn't that show only run like one season?
Yeah,
I'm not sure. But there you go. That was the last question.
Yeah.
And we have to end this show
So-
because I'm going to explode after having 2 mason jars full of water.
So, let's put Christ back in Christmas, as they said in The Boys in Episode 3. Und er sagt, jede Person, die du triffst, hat eine Geschichte zu erzählen, die du noch zu hören hast. Alles, was du tun musst, ist zuhören.
Every person you meet has a story to tell that you have yet to hear, and all you have to do is listen. Let's thank we've got a monster roster of
Yeah.
moderators today. We've got, of course, Brian Hepburn, Lord Toth, Justin Toner, and Tom Jr. Jackson.
Yeah, check.
Thank you to our great moderating staff. I want to thank everybody for supporting this channel via Super Chats, tips, and memberships. We finally got back to member calls, which we'll keep getting back to. We'll do another one next week. I want to make up for all the time I've missed. We had a great time talking. And remember, House of the Dragon comes back season 2 tonight.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I think that Modesty, Blaze, and I should... I keep saying Modesty Blaze, but it's really not. It's Modesty. That's what Modesty comes from. She's blazing. But we might do an after show, so I'm still thinking about that.
Nice.
Modesty Cortez. So anyway, on that note, we've got to end the show because I must drain the main vein.
See you next week.
All right, everybody.
Boys and girls.